The danger. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thank you so much for joining us here at the Guild Superior on this Thursday night pre-blizzard up here in Canada, where I am. If you don't hear from me after this weekend, it's because I've been buried alive in about 30 feet of snow, and I'm probably not going to be found until spring, which, you know, is a traditional way to go here in Canada. Be that as it may, that is beyond the point. Thank you so much for joining us. We're happy to have you here for this, the final episode, or finale, as we say when we try to pronounce it with a French accent, which I can do because I'm French, of the Shadesong Saga, which has been going on for, well, you know, in my world for about 3 years, here on Guild Superior for about 6 months now. This is the end of the first season. There will be a second season. I am changing the format of it. I'll talk more about that at a later date. For now, I do want to welcome you very much here. The episode tonight is called Darklight. If you are interested in finding out a bit more about what's come before, the world itself, lore, the characters, things of that nature, you can check out my website, bleakseason.com, where you can get all the lore you can handle, summaries of past sagas, links to our VODs for all the video clips that all the streams that we've done in this world, or just visit our YouTube page for that. It's all there. So this is, as I said, a very auspicious occasion, and so it requires some awesome players. I've definitely had an incredible run of luck doing this show on stream with the quality of players that I've had, and tonight is absolutely no different. I'd like you to meet them. Hi. How you doing?
Hello.
Hello. How's everybody doing? Everybody doing all right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You'll recognize the Scoos, of course, whose face has graced the screen almost as much as mine. Thankfully, his is much nicer than mine.
Oh,
and so it's sort of a boom.
Don't talk about my Dungeon Master like that. That's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Hi, everybody. I'm Scoos. You can find me at Scoos News on Twitch and stuff. And yeah, I have the pleasure of playing a character named Fane, which is spelled different than a previous character named Fane that occurred in this Shadesong. But yeah, I'm excited to be here.
5, I think we figured different characters you played in these games over time.
Yeah, 5.
Yeah.
This is number 5. Very excited.
Hall of Fame stuff. Thanks, Scoos. You know, I dig your style. I love your work. I'm so glad that you're here on this last game. I think it's very fitting that you are here. Someone who's making their streaming debut tonight, but obviously not role-playing debut, as they are seasoned game master in their own right, is Misty. Hey, Misty, how you doing?
Hi, guys. How's it going?
Would you like to tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe where people can find you? Your links are going to pop off in the chat, but if you want to tell us what you're up to and what's happening and a little bit about your character, if you want, that'd be great.
Yeah, don't do much on Twitch, so I don't know if I have any sort of Twitch things, but I enjoy watching. So if anybody wants to post streams other than this one as well, I'd love to check out your channel. Other than that, I run my own weekly campaign. We're currently doing Strahd, and you can find me on Instagram and the Facebook if those links are posted. So I'm always up for Dungeons and Dragons or any role-playing game. So if anybody has got games, come at me.
You big Beatles fan?
Yes, I'm a huge Beatles fan, and music in general, all music. I'm a dancer and an actor, so usually any music.
Which Beatle is your favorite?
Oh God, you can't ask that.
Why would you do that?
No,
Ringo, come on.
You're gonna vilify 3/4.
The man has a sense of humor.
Ringo, just a minute. It's cool. It's okay. It's okay to love Ringo. Ringo deserves love also.
He does. He deserves a lot of love.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for making your debut here with us. I hope you have a good time and that you'll come back. I've instructed Scoos to be nice and kind and not up to his usual thuggery. So, you know, everything should go fairly well. And finally, we have a fourth member who will join us a little bit later after the break. But finally, I have the excellent pleasure to receive once again in my table the wonderful Tori Fika from Level 1 Geek. How you doing, Tori?
I'm great. Thanks so much for having me back.
Want to give us a little bit of a lowdown on what's going on, who you are, what's happening, and who you're playing?
Sure. So I am one part of the crew over at Level 1 Geek. That's LVL1 Geek. I think that's popping up in chat as well. But we also play a whole variety of tabletop RPGs over there. So if you enjoy watching Guild Superior here, and you're just like, man, I gotta have more of this, then you can also hang out with us on Monday nights. We're playing Vaesen right now. We're playing a Vaesen campaign, which is a game that has appeared here on this channel. I would know because I've played it.
You've shot a few windows in it.
Yes, a couple windows. So that's me. You can also follow me on Twitter if you want at Tori Fika. And tonight I am playing Anche, who, as I understand it, is an NPC who has been sort of like mentioned kind of in the lore background, the goings on of the world, but has not yet made an appearance up to this point. So I am honored that you would entrust this to me, and I hope I do her justice.
It was an easy choice, absolutely easy choice. And the work that you guys are doing over on Level 1 Geek is amazing. I've loved the Vaesen game. I rewatched today the third and second episode on YouTube. Guys, if and the stuff Level 1 Geek's doing, they're sort of like us. You know, they like the same kind of games. They have great role-playing, wonderful game masters, and play some awesome games. So their link is right now in the chat. Click it. Go give them a follow. Give them a little bit of that Guild Superior love. And I always go in and watch them. So, you know, I'm sure you won't regret if you do it also. Thank you so much for coming back, Tori. All right. Few last little shout outs before we begin. As I mentioned earlier, I'm Bleakseason. You can find me at the Bleakseason on Twitter. Right here every Thursday night. Currently no longer on Sundays, but they'll pick up again in the new year. I'll tell you all about all the new stuff we got going on at the end of the session. Before we begin, there are a few thanks I would like to extend, some shout outs to some people. Big thanks to Andy, my producer here on Shadesong. He's been producing this show for several months now. Thank you, Andy. I appreciate all the work that you do. It's a lot of fun working with you. A shout out to Tabletop Audio for the awesome tunes that you're hearing right now. Tonight, I'm going to be using maps from both Animated Dungeon Maps on Patreon, as well as Teox, also on Patreon. His website should be popping up also. Gorgeous maps all around. This world would not be what it is without their maps. Give him a check out. Special thanks to Uncle Dave for the overlays, the promos, that special pinewood scent that emanates from all fabled outdoorsmen. I got to change that. It's like 3 times I use it now. As well as Ashley from the production team for the promo. Finally, massive thank you to all the Superior Adventures Guild members in our Discord, playing our games. We had an amazing year. It was so much fun getting to meet so many of you, growing the channel together, playing so many games. Like, man, we play games. Holy smoke, we play games this year. And we're going to play more, so much more coming next year. And thank you to the awesome players here tonight, the people in chat. You guys make the world go round. Thank you so much. Drop by our Discord, make yourself at home, maybe get into some games. You know, we're easy going like that. And with that, without further ado, as they say, everybody ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it. The Order of Oathwyn, which gradually fell apart after Oathwyn's death over 500 years ago, was dedicated to the protection of the innocent, and in its last decades, focused on opposing the forces of Shadesong. After Oathwyn and Shadesong killed each other at the final battle that saw the Order emerge victorious, if mostly torn apart and destroyed, the Order lost the interest of the people as a long-standing peace descended on Eld. Now, in the wake of the Necro King's defeat and the arrival of the one named Fugue one brave Ashkari cleric, Anche Tanhamaran, sought out the one living member of the original order, the Eldrin sorcerer Onduil Blackquill, and convinced him to reform the order in memory of Oathwin. The order, currently just a handful of members, relocated to a manor held by Enduil in the small northern town of Berevik. There they began training and planning to recruit more members in order to possibly confront Fugue if this new threat were to grow. 2 nights ago, the city was suddenly attacked by Fugue's forces. Hundreds of Dracovatch, Fugue's demonic shock troops, assaulted and infiltrated the city, setting fires, slaying innocents, and decimating the guard. With Anduil away, Anche rallied her troops, and they did what they could, fighting off the invaders and rescuing as many civilians as they could. But it was a lost cause. The attack was so sudden and overwhelming that all the newly reborn order could do was slow the enemy down and save a few lives. Now the remainder of the order, a scant few warriors, are hiding with several dozen civilians in the bowels of an old shipyard smithy, hiding from the seek and destroy forces of Dracovash hunting them down, and trying to find a way out of the city. And on the Owlbear, I will show you. This is the smithy where you currently find yourselves. There are 20 or 30 civilians with you. I haven't put as many tokens as there are to not crowd up the place, but everyone's huddled in this sort of basement smithy, hiding away from the forces that are trying to find you and kill you. Currently in the smithy are a few people. There is Fane, who has grown since we last met him, who is keeping an eye out on the door, and Cithriel, the Eldrin Bard, who is known for her ability to sing the celestial octave, which there's a lot of power, especially against creatures that are tied to the necrophage as the Dracovash are. All of you are bloodied, weary, low on supplies, low on hit points, low on spells, on everything, as you've been fighting a running battle basically for 2 days now. As you sit here huddled in the dark, the fires of the forges haven't been stoked to a minimum just to keep a little bit of warmth, as you are in the north and it is winter. So the city is currently under several feet of snow and quite frozen through. The ventilation barely adequate to get all this smoke out of here. You are in dire straits, and you've been listening as a number of these shock troops, these demonic Dracovatch, have been stamping upstairs in the shipyard, the building room that's upstairs. They've been moving in and out of it for the past hour or so. You've been trying to keep everyone quiet. You perhaps, Cithriel, going through among the people and just trying to comfort them and, you know, get them to stay calm and not lose it, while Fane is at the door keeping an eye out. Let's start with Fane here. Could you give us just a quick rundown of what people would see as they see Fane?
So Fane has a worn, like, dark cloak over very, like, almost like, I don't know, burnt titanium, you know, that like sort of dark purple that has some color to it, like armor. He has a large mace and some javelins in a holster on his back. But the showstopper is a very large, like, taller, like 8-foot tall glaive that he's sort of holding on. And at this point, he's like leaning on it. Cuts across the face. heavy breathing and just sort of staring at the door with like a almost pleading look not to for there not to be anything that comes through at this point.
And that's when the Tarask appears. No.
Oh,
No
God.
Tarask in this world. Damn those Tarasks, always lurking about. You keep an eye out. You certainly see that some people have been getting nervous, and you've already had to kind of glare at a few of them because some of them have been perhaps thinking that staying here is a stupid idea, and they might want to take their chances out into the rest of the city. And it's a bad idea. So you've been kind of eyeballing a few people and trying to keep them down a little bit. Further inside the smithy, we see Cithriel, who is tending to some of the people. Misty, how about you tell us a little bit what people see as they look upon Cithriel?
Yeah, Cithriel has really long, almost white blonde hair that currently is pulled back, just trying to, and a slightly haggard look on her face as she's trying to remain calm and serene and go around to all these people. She's got beautiful gray-blue eyes, and some leather armor on. Her clothes, which are normally lighter in hue, are a bit darker after all of the strife. But she's currently humming and wandering around the people, trying to, lightly humming, trying to keep them calm and peaceful.
All right. And as you go through the people, some of them are wounded, and there are a few other people in here that also have first aid skills that have been sort of tending to people. One thing is for sure is there's no food. There's barely any water. Someone has sort of taken it upon themselves to collect all the water that people had to try and kind of make a communal collection of it. And as you're moving through these different people, this person, a young boy that you charged with this task, name Rickards, comes to you, and he's got like 5 or 6 water skins, filled to a certain. Some of them almost empty, some of them a little bit more filled up. And he comes to you and he says, Miss Cithriel, there's some people who don't want to give what they have. This is all I was able to get. And he hands you these water skins.
Thank you. That's understandable. If people aren't willing to give, they're scared. If you can, just walk around them and keep them calm.
Yeah, I'll do what I can. I'll do what I can. And so he sort of goes off. It's pretty clear to you that, you might be able to last most of the day in here, but the heat, the dryness with the smoke and everything, the lack of water, you realize is probably going to be fairly problematic by the end of the day for sure.
Definitely. I look to compatriots too and just see how they're doing.
I'm sorry, say that again.
I look to my compatriots as well and see how they're doing. Give them kind of a look like I don't feel we have too much time that we can stay here.
And up at the door, Payne, as you're keeping an eye on sort of what's going on, you see this exchange with them, and you've noticed a few people that were not too keen on sharing water. There's a group that's sort of sitting in the far corner of the little room there, and they've sort of been huddled together and talking, and you kind of peg them as problematic probably, and you're kind of thinking maybe something's going to have to sort of be done about them. But just as you maybe start to think about doing something, you hear outside, just outside the door, a couple of quick footsteps that stop. Then after a few moments, there's the secret knock that comes.
You could see like the tension sort of just overtake Fane for a moment, and like the haft of the glaive leaves the ground, and then he hears the knock and is like, quickly leans on it again and like opens the door just a little bit. And
you see there Anche, who is trying to keep to the shadows and throwing a look out behind her, standing by the door.
Come in, quickly.
So just to clarify real quick, Bleak,
Yes.
I have received the message.
You have
okay.
received the message. You bring hope.
I have a message from Andwil.
Inside, quickly, please.
I'll come inside.
What do people
Shut
see
the door.
as?
People see a she has dark skin and that contrasts nicely with her bright white hair that's kind of flopped over to one side and shaved on the other. She has bright eyes and a very calm exterior. She's someone who comes into the room and just like exudes calm confidence, and seems to be someone who's familiar with like the burden of leadership and keeping people calm and Fane. How well do I know Fane? Probably not super well, or you are muted.
If you muted. Talking to you muted at least once, it's not a stream, is it? You've known Fane now for about 5 months, 6 months, maybe. He was, once you had talked to Anduil about reforming, the first person he brought in. Well, in fact, there were two people at that time. There was Fane and a dwarven warrior named, dwarven cleric named Garm, who's not here now. And there were the two to join you. So the very first sort of order mission that you did, which was the fourth saga called Black Moon, but
okay. So Fane
with Fane. So you've known him, 5-6 months. You've done some stuff with Fane.
Okay, Fane would probably see just the barest hint of that same exhaustion and just like threadbare nerves that everyone else in the room has. But she is doing her best to keep it together, basically. And she's got nice heavy armor and simple but like very clean, very well maintained warhammer and shield. And yeah, that's Anshe.
Cool. You walk into the room, it smells even more oppressive and feels even more oppressive than it did a little bit earlier. Just before you walked in, you saw the Drakovach that were upstairs leave. So that's what you were waiting. But you've been gone for the better part of an hour now, going to check on this message drop thing. And a few minutes ago, you saw the Drakovach leave. So you know that for now, the area outside is kind of quiet.
Okay. I will pass that info along. And I'll ask Fane to gather whoever sort of like I guess I would know this too, but I would like to gather the people who have kind of become sort of the makeshift de facto leaders here in this little ragtag group of survivors we have.
Okay, not a problem. You'll get Sethriel there, and you'll get two of the other civilians from the area. This older man and his niece, who have been very sort of helpful in getting people to do what they're supposed to do and sort of giving you a hand with everything.
Okay, and I'll tuck ourselves kind of into a little alcove or corner somewhere so I can share the message with them privately first. Would you like me to just read it?
Hopefully it's good news.
Okay. She'll pull out the scroll and read to the group. I'm sorry, I cannot come to you. Fugue is using some sort of magic to prevent me from opening a portal. However, if you can reach the crypt below the Blue Chapel, I have a means of escape for you there. Head to the slums and find any entrance you can to the underground, even just a sewer entrance. Use dark vision and you'll see markers that will lead you to an underground access. Do be careful. I suspect Fugue will have some of her forces patrolling the underground. Once you reach the crypt, find the tomb with an everlight burning above it and have Fane repeat what I taught him about the Lumen Naturae. A portal will open, but will certainly draw attention and be shut down almost immediately. Step through it quickly. I'll wait on the other side. The city is lost. The best we can do now is live to fight another day. More people need the Order of Oathwyn. Fane, does that sound familiar? The Lumen Nature.
Yes, absolutely. And you can see Fane, you would know Fane to be kind of a thinker. He's a little bit stoic. And you can see this like kind of frown come over his face. And he cracks a smile at first. And he kind of looks around and he says, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, with alongside darkness comes light and vice versa. And we'll always did love a riddle. He's
what about
keeping
all
an
these
eye on the
people
door.
here?
Yeah,
sorry.
Good.
What
Well-
about all these people? Will we get them through the portal, or is it just us?
It sounds like it won't be open for long, so I suggest we organize ourselves and funnel people through as rapidly as possible. But we need to do it orderly.
One of the people that's there, the older gentleman, say, what happens if this portal closes while half of us are still not through it? Will you be going through first, or will you be going through last, or can people get injured with these magics? What will happen?
I will go through last. Fane. She'll put her hand on your shoulder. I need you to lead them through. And you, Cythria. At least 2 of us have to make it. And I will defend until everyone is through. And if it closes before then, I'll deal with what happens.
You see Fane like salute, almost like kind of a clasp the chainmail and nod, and then start like kind of eyeballing the room. And he chuckles a little bit. I don't. These people have trusted us so. I don't even know if they do trust us. I think they're sort of here out of necessity. Some of them.
Well, we'll need them to. What choice do they have? Stay here and wait for the enemy forces to overrun us completely? Or till we starve or run out of water? At least this gives us a chance.
Perhaps we should gather them and ask. Some may not want to go, and perhaps it would be best to let them make that decision for themselves. Do you think?
It's a wonderful
course.
idea.
Why don't you do that now?
Yes, come, Sophie. And so the 2 of them will go out and will start telling people, and the second they start talking, like you can feel the energy kind of crackle, like, oh, there's a way out, or there's something going on, and it spreads really quickly and people kind of gather really quickly. Do you need a moment before you address these people between yourselves, or are you just going to wait for them to be ready to hear what you have to say?
I mean, it wouldn't hurt to consider what happens if not everybody makes it through.
Well, I cannot, in good conscience, leave behind innocence. And if the 3 of us go first and the portal closes, that's exactly what we'll be doing. My hope is that the portal stays open for long enough that we'll all make it through, and this conversation will be just needless preparation. But if that's not the case, then you 2 make it through and find a way to send word, tell me where to go. I can make it by foot, perhaps. Or if you can find a way to free Andwil from this enchantment that's preventing him. I don't know.
I don't know if I feel quite right leaving you behind.
Nor I, sister.
Well, what would you suggest? We send them
Maybe
all
we
through
get them
first?
out and then we go out last. I don't want to leave you here by yourself.
She'll clasp both your shoulders and nod solemnly. And I understand your hesitation, but the world needs our order. If all of us fail to get through the portal, what hope do we have?
And as you say these final words, people have started to gather around the fire pits in the room, and they're all looking towards you with anticipation. And the old man and his niece are trying to calm them down. Please listen to what they have to say. They've been good to us so far. They saved our lives. Please just give them your ear for a moment. They may have a way out of here, but please just listen. And the old man will turn to the three of you and go, please tell us, what have you discovered?
We may have a way out. There is a portal hidden underground. We need to travel there through the sewers, perhaps. We need to find a way down there to the crypt. Once we're there,
Good.
we can unlock a portal. The journey could be dangerous, and we have no way of knowing exactly how long the portal will stay open. To make this trip is a risk, and I recognize that, and you should all feel free to make your own choice. However, I do not see another way out, and this will be the path that my compatriots and I will be following. Any of you are welcome to join.
Someone in the crowd goes, what do you mean a portal? Like a door? There's a doorway that leads out of here? Or what is it? And someone said, they mean some magical thing. Isn't that dangerous? So won't they know that we're doing that? And so there's like a bit of a hubbub that sort of springs up.
Calm yourselves. It means there will be a doorway out of here, and it will only be open for so long. We will need you to be quiet and steadfast and follow us. I put on my calmest demeanor. Of course, if you don't feel comfortable,
to them, you'd see them calming down. Sorry.
Well, that's okay.
Okay. As soon as Cithriel speaks to them, it has a calming effect. Just her regular voice and her demeanor. It's almost as if she's using some sort of spell, but she isn't. She just really has this sort of presence and a training at the Bard College and the Magisterium that gives her this ability, and it calms people down. And someone goes, and what happens next? Will there be an army coming to clear the city to get the rest of us if we decide to stay here? What about our families and friends that have still behind, that are still out there? Will someone be coming for them, or will we be taking everyone out through this portal of yours?
We will take as many as we can, but for those who remain holed up elsewhere, we will have to return.
But you will. You're not just going to leave the city, are you?
We're here. We've come this far. We've brought this much light to this situation.
We cannot plan for every outcome. We must take this one step at a time. And the step that is before you now, that you all must decide for yourselves, is whether you are coming with us or you are staying here. I will give you, I don't know, whatever seems like a reasonable amount of time. I will give you 1 hour's time to discuss with your loved ones and your companions here, at which point we will divide into groups to plan how we will carry this out.
So the people will break up into little groups and we'll start discussing amongst each other. Several of them will come throughout this time to ask you questions about how you're going to get there, what the portal is, and so on and so forth. And you do your best to reassure them, to explain to them what's going to happen. In the end, after a certain amount of time, there's maybe about a quarter of them that are like, they don't want to go. They still have family members or loved ones here. They want to stay behind, try to help them, or some of them are just too afraid or too scared of sort of what's going to happen. So a number of them will stay behind. The old man says that he'll stay with them to keep trying to help him, and because he doesn't think that, you know, he'll be of much help on the run. He's kind of a little bit old and feeble, so he'll say that he'll stay with them here. Those that want to stay behind, and they'll stay hidden here for, you know, a few hours still, or perhaps until the next morning, to make sure that you can get away before they go out into the city. And they all beg you and, you know, ask you, some of them tears in their eyes, please make sure to come back for them. Don't abandon them. Don't abandon the city. You know, come back and help them.
Can I, while these groups seem to be sort of naturally dividing themselves up over the course of the next hour, I want to chat with Vane and
Yeah,
Sophia
absolutely.
again.
Go for it.
Definitely do this away from the rest of everyone else, but
No problem.
By the door.
I'm not certain that we can come back. I don't know that these people that we might leave behind, I cannot promise them that we will return.
You didn't. I did.
And in which case, even if we can't, don't tell them that. Hope is a powerful, powerful thing. And I can't take that away from them.
Is it truly hope if it's a lie?
Who knows, it might not be. They might find a way to come back. But I wouldn't take the hope away from them and leave them feeling like we'll never come. They have to know people care and that we're trying.
Yes. You always have such wise words.
For what it's worth, it's a promise I'm willing to break if the situation turns dour. But that's on me.
Indeed. All right, then. I just wanted to be sure that the three of us, at least, were united in our plan. So,
Which is
on that
to
front,
get to the Blue Chapel.
we should come up with a plan.
That's true. All these people and getting to an underground area.
So you have some of the stuff that you've acquired during your run out here and whatnot. You do have, you know, bits and pieces of a map of the city that people have cobbled together, drawing in their neighborhoods and things like that. And you've managed to kind of put together a fairly complete map of most of the main areas of the city. So you can sort of, you know, pore over that and try to come up with a plan. There's, you're very near the dock areas is the slums of the city. And there are several sewer, not entrance because they're not meant to be entrance, but there are several tunnels that, you know, basically where the sewers exit out into the water. So that's certainly a access point that you could use to get into the underground. And pretty much wherever you access the underground, you'll be at about the same distance from the Blue Chapel, which is near the center of town. So it doesn't
How
really
far distance-wise is it?
So it would probably take, like, if you were just walking across the city, it would probably take, like, it's not a huge city, so it would probably take like 45 minutes or so to get to the center of it. It's not very big. In the tunnels, it might be a little bit more roundaboutish, you know, the different tunnels and whatnot. But if there are marks, if Andwell had planned ahead and there are marks to guide you, you figure it'll probably take about hour and a half or so to get out there, unless you get really unlucky, regardless of where you enter. As far as getting to the sewer entrances, the slums were one of the first part that was hit because the invaders came from this area, which is one of the reasons why you came here, because it was kind of behind their line, so to speak. So you, Anche, haven't gone up already and kind of gotten to a higher point to get the Silver Raven back. I've kind of seen where they're moving, and most of them appear to have moved further north into the city. So while you would expect to probably run into some patrols, the way should be fairly clear to get to the nearest sewer entrance if that's the way you want to go. If you're moving carefully trying to hide, you might be able to make it without too much trouble, but it would probably be best, you figure, to go in smaller groups than in like a big chunk of people kind of thing.
Yeah. Okay, how many people are we talking? Of the people who are going with us, how many?
Even 20.
20?
Even 20?
Yeah, we'll say even 20, yeah.
Okay.
Of the people that are here, I would like to, obviously, when going around calming them, especially utilizing records and whatnot, try and figure out if somebody knows maybe the best, most out of the way path to get to the nearest sewer point.
Is this, are we, like, we're familiar-ish with this,
Ish.
right? Like, we are
Familiar-ish, because you've only been living here for about a month. And, you know, while you certainly have gone out and about, you're not from here, and it's not like you've been living here for an extended period of time.
We probably didn't explore the sewers.
Sure. Yeah.
I mean, it was my first place to go.
The 3 hours like, I'm going to go slum. I'm going to go slumming.
Yeah. All right.
What the cool parties are.
I did roll an 18, so one of the people here is someone from the neighborhood, and someone will point him out, like, you know, oh, Rourke's from around here, he might be able to help you. And then you get this guy who used to be a shipwright in the area, and so he knows the area pretty well, if you want to talk to him and see what he might suggest.
Absolutely. Hi. I was,
Oh, hey,
are you coming with us?
yeah, I believe so. It's staying here is I don't know, it feels too much like I'm gonna die like a rat caught in a trap somewhere. I'd rather you know, if I'm gonna have to go, I'd rather be out there swinging than in here just waiting to die, if you catch my meaning.
Everyone has their own path, but we could certainly use your strength and your leadership.
Oh, and
You know-
I found this Smithy's hammer here. They'll stand me good. Repaired a few ships in my time. I can certainly break a few skulls.
I can see it. I heard you might know some better paths. We're looking to get people there quietly and quickly, but out of sight. Do you know any good ways that we can go?
Oh, yeah. Do you still have that map of yours that you had earlier? Let me see that.
Absolutely. Right here. No, I'm just kidding.
This part's upside down here. Hold on. All right, so this connects a bit more. Yeah, so if you're trying to get to one of the sewer entrances, you don't want to go to that one, because that one is usually heavily used, because it's the one that takes this is the output for all the stuff that's coming from the higher top of the city. So there's a lot of stuff. So you don't want to go there. You know, it's gonna be a mess. But this one here is just a little bit further off, and we might be able to get there. Most of that area was not habitated, so it's very likely that they didn't spend a lot of time there, and they probably didn't fire anything, so we might not have to contend with buildings on fire and things like that. But we can probably, if we go through here, through that plaza here, and then cut over into that arcade there, we can probably just follow that wall into there, and that should be able to get us there with minimal exposure.
Thank you. Thank you for your leadership. Would you be willing to stay with a group and help us lead them if we need to spread out?
It's very kind of you to say, and yes, I'll help however I can. Yes,
absolutely. I will definitely write down all that he just said on the map and then pass it along to my cohorts.
I'm gonna give him my mace. Actually, I'm gonna walk up to Rourke and say, "You."
Sure.
Absolutely, my friend.
Oh. Well, thank you kindly. I'll be sure to put it to good use.
Hopefully not.
Yeah. I see what you did there. He tests it in his hand a little bit. Like, very nice. Even
I definitely want to leave words of encouragement to those who are staying, and a few of the water bottles, and, you know, make sure that they're comfortable and hold up as much as possible. Make sure they have any weapons to help defend themselves if need be, like even makeshift ones.
Okay, give me a performance check.
Yeah. Ooh, my first roll of the night. Yay.
I know. I mean, plus 10, so I'm not too worried, but
Let me pull up my performance 1 second.
lot of performance.
Oof. It's hard to see. 11 plus 10, so 21.
All right, so you give them a little bit of a speech. You, get them, boost their morale a little bit, and you get the feeling that they're, not only are they very thankful for everything you've done, they've taken heart from the words that you've just left with them, and you feel confident they're not going to do anything stupid after you've gone. So you've probably saved a few lives there with your role. So after a little bit, people will kind of grab anything they can for weapons, hammers, whatever's sort of lying around, metal spikes, things of that nature, tools. They'll pack whatever they think might be useful that they can find around there. There's not a lot, obviously, and then not too long after the hour deadline that you'd given them, you have your group of about 20 people ready to follow you.
All right. So I think we maybe said we want to divide up into groups, right? It seems like we have 4 people who can lead a group if we count Rourke.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we'll each take a group of 5 and hope
Maybe
for the
stay
best.
within distance of each other, so if one gets in trouble, we can.
Yeah, I think we should like kind of like, group A go, and then we'll like someone from group A will like signal, like, okay,
Bird
we're good.
calls?
Come. Yeah.
Do we use bird calls?
Who's
Faith says,
taking
I've
group A,
always wanted
group
to
B?
use bird calls.
Have you
Yeah.
seen 3 amigos? Caca. Look over here. Look over here.
Minus, not minus.
Are the like troublemaker group of folks that were not sharing their water, are they coming with us?
Oh, good
No, they're
question.
part of the group that stays up.
Boo.
I'm
Fine.
okay with that. I'm okay
Totally
with that.
fine.
I don't give them the water skin. I give it to,
The
other
old man.
people.
Give it to the old
Yeah.
man who was helpful.
Give it to the old man.
Yeah.
He'll be fair.
If you don't share your water, you're not getting out of this situation alive.
They're gonna stay here forever. All right. Who's gonna do Group A, Group B, Group C, Group D?
Well, we're not going to break down that much. We're going to do this fairly simply and easily. So
Okay.
you find yourselves here. I will give you Rourke. I got to be careful to use the tokens that I paid for, not the ones that I use in my offline game. All right. So this is what we're going to do. Instead of all those people, what I will do is I will give each of you a token. Here, this will be Cithriel's group of 5.
Woohoo!
This will be your group of 5.
Oh, we totally named them too. Like, I've got Team Shield. You've got Team Loot. Like,
Yep.
I have
Team Sword.
team.
Dun, 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 dun.
I think
Doodaloo.
I think Team Shadow.
Whoa, Team
Nice.
Shadow. Okay, what's Rourke's
Shadow.
team?
Hoping I can move my person because I tried earlier and I was having problems. Let's try.
Okay,
It's
well,
like the
yeah,
hand,
if you're
right?
on if you don't have a mouse, it might be difficult, but I'll you can.
Oh, I figured it. I got it. We're good. Blah.
So we're going to do this pretty simply. I basically just want to see if you're going to get in trouble or not. So these are the Dracovatch. This is what they look like.
They're really cool.
One of the problems with the Dracovatch is that their weapons cause necrophage, or they have a chance of causing necrophage when they hit. So seasoned
Okay.
adventurers like yourselves, who have pretty good saving throws, for example, are not as affected by it, but civilians, it's very dangerous for civilians. So if you do get, 1, you want to try to avoid a confrontation. 2, if you do get in confrontation, you want to try to avoid them attacking civilians, which they usually, that's what they do. They will target civilians. So I just want to be careful with these things. There are a couple of patrols in the area.
Can I ask a quick question about the necrophage?
Yeah.
Do we have like an established kind of procedure if someone has been affected by the necrophage? Is it like the kind of thing where it's like, hey, it's best to just kill them now? Like, or like, Do you know what I'm
Like in
kind of saying?
zombies?
Yes, exactly. Is it like,
So-
uh-oh, you've gotten hit with a necrophage sword? Like,
Sorry.
sorry, this is for the best. Like,
Yeah, usually that's what happens. The only thing to do
Okay.
is to kill them. There are two things that are known to cure the necrophage. One of them is a potion that is brewed by a fellow Ashkari named Radovan, who is not here currently. So that's out the window. The other one is Cithriel's song, or the celestial octave that she can sing, destroys the necrophage, and it tends to destroy things that are made of necrophage, but it tends to cure it in other people, or at least it gives people a chance to sort of survive it.
nice.
However, it's not something that you can do willy-nilly, so you have to kind of be selective about when you use it.
Yeah, like, was it 3 times? Is that what I saw?
And I think you've used it once, I think I said.
Okay.
It does have an area of effect, though, so anyone who can hear her. So if ever there's a situation like that, you want to try to get as many people as possible, but generally, if someone gets a necrophage, you either kill them or they're going to try to kill you or spread it further after. So it's
How fast does it spread?
incredibly fast. It's almost
Very fast.
instantaneous. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Wicked fast.
Wicked. So this is what we're going to do. So you're up here. Okay. There are some patrols. The patrols are not necessarily where they are right now. I just put them there to kind of give you an idea. You want to get across this plaza down through here at the bottom. Okay. And so what we're going to do, just sort of quickly to see if you get into trouble, is I will ask you which order you're going. We'll send the groups out, and then I will have you make a stealth roll just to see if you can avoid the patrol. It's not so much about not making noise or hiding it. Anything you have that can help with the stealth roll, whether it's a buff or a spell or anything like that, tell me. And if you have something, I'll give you the advantage on the stealth roll. You don't have to cast it or use it, or, it gives a +2. Okay. If you have something, I'll give you advantage on the stealth roll. And then we're just going to see if with your group, you manage to navigate through here without getting in trouble. Okay.
okay.
So who's going to go first? And
You
also,
said we're
what
trying
do
to
you
get from
have?
where on the map to where in the map? Sorry, just want to make sure.
You're trying to get down here. We're not going to sort of go
Gotcha.
step by step. If you make your stealth roll, your group will manage to get down here and kind of hide out. Okay.
Okay. I
you.
propose that I don't go first because
Thank-
I'm bad at stealth and I don't want to alert everyone.
Spain,
Really
knowing
pushing it.
this, will actually
Cool.
look at you and say, Anje, we could go together and I could cast Pass Without Trace.
Oh,
And
and
then
we
both
take
of
both
our
our
groups.
groups together.
How many people can you cover with Pass Without Trace?
It doesn't, a veil of shadows and silence radiates from you. Each creature you choose within 30 feet of you. So as
Within
long as we
30
travel
Ooh.
together, each creature.
We got to be close,
Why
but
don't-
as long as we're together.
I would think that 2 groups would be the maximum you could put in 30
Sure.
feet of, because
Yeah.
at some point people are going to walk all over each
Yeah.
other. Do you have
I'm
a way
really
of doing
wishing I
that?
picked the different spells.
But do you have a way of doing it twice?
This
It
is like one of those
it lasts for
riddles.
an hour.
Where you have to you have to swim the fox
The-
over and
the
then
fox
take
and
the
the
sheep
grain.
and the guy.
Getting across the river with the alligator
Grain
or
will-
whatever.
If
But
you
yeah, I
have
guess
pass,
if it lasts an hour.
if it lasts an hour, then you can just sort of take a group over and come back and
Yeah.
Bane the Fairy Knight.
Good
Yes.
idea.
so okay, so
Uh,
let's do it this way then. You're gonna go in 2 groups, okay? So you're gonna have to go 3 times. No, that's right. 2 groups is good enough because you're gonna go with your group and another group, then you can come back get the other 2 groups. So that's fine. So I'm gonna have you make 2 stealth rolls with advantage since you have the Pass Without Trace. Okay. You also, each of you have an inspiration, by the way, just so you know. You start the game with an inspiration if you vaunt it.
So do I have to roll stealth still with
No,
with
you
the
don't
plus
have
10?
to. It'll
Oh, okay.
just be the scoos.
Okay.
If there's anything that can help boost your roll or something, you can use that too.
I say maybe take the group that's with our buddy here. First, Rourke.
the clanky one.
Yeah,
Rourke
okay,
first?
you should take me first because then
Oh,
if
true.
things go bad at the other end, like I can help, and then
Yeah.
and then we can have Rourke in the middle group, and then we'll take and then Sethri at the end.
And
love it.
Yeah,
Can I-
if you have any sort of buffs, like someone that can give you a blessing or anything like that, like you can add that to your roll also.
I
Well-
would definitely want to roll perception just to make sure, like, if we're keeping the timing of the guard or if we've seen people pass,
Okay.
like, just to make sure that we're maybe trying to time it out a little bit more.
So I'll tell you what, give me your perception roll. Does anyone have bless or any sort of a buff giving thing to rolls?
You mean like guidance, like a cantrip that would be very useful, like in this situation that I maybe should have taken but didn't?
I know.
Yeah.
I'm like, I wasn't thinking defensively really when I took my spells. Dang
It's
it.
okay. You'll be fine. Give me your perception
Listen,
roll.
when we get into battle, we're set.
You're
But
set.
anything
Oh,
else?
yeah.
Anything
Maybe we
else?
should
No.
just.
So give me your perception roll, Cithriel, and I'll tell you what. If you get a good high perception roll, I'll say you spot a pattern in the guards, and I'll give Scoos a bonus on his roll.
I'm not going to use that die then because it rolled modicum okay. We're going to use this die and hope it rolls really well because I only have a +4. Oof. It's not too bad, but it's 12.
All right. So, hey, thank you, Huli, for the raid. We super appreciate you. Thanks for dropping by and hanging out with us. Unfortunately, I'm going to say that roll does not make it ever. You look at them, you watch them, you don't really see a pattern that's emerging, so you kind of have to YOLO it a little bit. So, Scoos, it's all on you, and if ever you really flub a roll, you can use your inspiration to get a reroll on it. So,
Don't
go
suck.
for it with
Oh,
advantage.
thanks.
Don't suck, yeah.
I have automatic disadvantage on stealth checks because of my fancy burnt dragon armor.
So, take it off.
No, I'm not. Take my armor off? Are you kidding me? I'm a knight. So with that I got a 14 on the die and a 9 on the die, which would it'd be 15 and 10, but passes out trace is +10, so that'd be 25.
All right, so you're absolutely awesome. So the first group makes it through. Who was the first group that was going? I think you said.
Me.
All right, so you get there and you manage to kind of huddle your people, and you took your group at the same time. So you're huddling in there with like 10 people. You find a little bit of hiding space. Cool. You go back. I'm not going to make you roll on your way back. I'll say that it's the same roll that covers you on the way back.
Sure.
And you go back and get the other group. Go ahead. Give me another roll.
Rogues group.
With disadvantage again. Cool. This is
Oh no.
that's 8, 19.
All right.
Oh, such a good spell.
Good. Yeah, it is.
This is the perfect use of this spell too. Like, all right.
I remember I had it for the longest time at some point, or someone had it, and I thought it was like, you know, the old ranger thing where you didn't leave footprints or something. I'm like, well, that's a stupid spell. What are you doing? And someone explained it to me, and I was like, oh.
That's how I remember
Oh,
3.5 though. I think it changed a little bit from 3.5 to 5, like when they updated
You don't leave footprints. That is part of it, but definitely the +10 is
+10, yeah,
way
that's
better.
That's like I ordered a meatball and they gave me a steak. You know, like good upgrade.
Yeah, so there's like this, you know, clanky night, and it's just clean snow across this plaza.
So yeah, so as you go through this plaza, there's snow everywhere. You leave no trace. You can smell the smoke from the other places in town that are burning, and even the sky is kind of clouded over by this black, smoky, sooty sort of cloud that's kind of hanging over it. You can hear in the distance the sound of fighting still, people screaming and things of that nature. The guards that are in here, like, you know, when you see them again, they're very frightening kind of creatures. This is not a world where there's a lot of monsters. Monsters are just not in this world, so these things are very kind of unsettling. But you manage to make it through without too much of an effort, and it only takes you maybe about 20 minutes or so to get through here. And having done that very well, you are rewarded with a sewer entrance.
A new match.
Exactly what I was hoping for. Yay.
Show him what he's won.
That's right. We're not going to dilly-dally too long. I just want to give you a look at what the place is. But so you'll come around the corner here and eventually find your way into this sort of little area. The stench is not too bad. Being winter, a lot of the effluent of the sewer is frozen, and it's not as bad. You know, if it was in the middle of the summer, it'd be pretty terrible. This area is an area that's generally pretty abandoned. So there's no one really around. You don't see a lot of signs of the Drake of Ash having been here, having really wasted too much time around here. And you'll gather your people over here, and a few of them are a little bit unsettled with, you know, the tension of having had to cross that plaza, and they don't really understand magic. So they're like, shouldn't they be seeing us right now? And you're like, no, it's okay, they don't, you know, and like kind of carrying them across. And
I do have to really give you a shout out. These maps are beautiful.
They're
great.
Animated dungeon maps. They are
animated dungeon master. Wow.
Bomb. They are the best. There's animated versions. I just don't use them, the animated versions, but definitely worth all the money I put into their Patreon because some bomb maps.
Awesome.
Bomb maps.
Nice.
That's why I use them, just for art, really, like just to kind of show things that they're not good.
So that took us like 20 minutes, you said? Ish, 20, 30 minutes?
Yeah.
So I'm going to propose maybe that Fane, maybe just Fane, or maybe Fane and another person, maybe go scout ahead while you still have some juice left on your sneaky sneaks in the sewers. What do you think?
That sounds good to me. I'm happy to lead the way. Zithriel?
You and me, buddy. Let's go.
All right. And I'll bring up the rear.
Okay.
Because I am loud and clanky. But I guess I'll like lag with all the people like behind you guys. So you guys go in and I'll wait, you know, like a few minutes or something.
No problem.
And start heading in.
I will quack like a duck if it's clear.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
An owl?
That's better.
You're such a quack. When you arrive at the sewer exit there, which let's call us an exit, even though you're going to use it as an entrance, the first thing you notice is that there's a grill there that's in the sewer, and it's probably going to cause a bit of a problem. There doesn't seem to be anyone around here. There's really, like I said, no civilians and no guards. It's pretty quiet. But you do realize this grate is in your way. So
is it pretty like all encompassing where like there's no...
It's pretty
like
old and rusted, so it's probably kind of got some weak points, but it does cover the entirety of the entrance, and there's like, you know, stuff that's hanging off of it, you know, that's frozen there, like, you know, that was dripping down, but it's just kind of frozen there. It's not very pleasant.
All right. Can I look around for a crowbar or something? We're down near like the ship.
Yeah.
Area.
So what we'll say that what you find is you kind of go around and you get Rourke to help you out. You'll eventually.
I have one.
You have a crowbar?
I have a crowbar.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
I so wish I had chosen silence as a thing where we could
That would have been nice.
Not just a fairy knight, but also a toolkit knight.
Oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. I have a crowbar, but I have a crowbar, and I pull it out of like a backpack.
You know why you have a crowbar? Because Miko made that character originally, and that's just the kind of thing that Miko would put on.
Oh, that makes a lot of sense looking at all this stuff. All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Miko's the kind of guy who was like, I'm going to put some pitons in here, you know?
Yo,
you never know.
Pitons are great.
So you do have a crowbar. And you do have a shipwright there. So I'll say that with his help and with your combined strengths and whatnot, and with the crowbar, you make quick work of this. And I'm reminded of a game we played recently where the single biggest threat to the adventure in the entire 3 sessions that we played was a bridge that was incomplete that the players had to get across. And Scoos, you'll remember that was the biggest obstacle, or not the lich, nothing else. It was the broken bridge.
That is always the doors, right?
Yeah.
Always the doors. Yep.
Always the doors. Dang it. if possible, when they're doing this with the crowbar, I would really like to try and either use some of my extra cloth or like, use like my body frame to kind of try and grab it. So it's like, if possible, dampen the sound.
Sure.
Like, so it doesn't just fall, but like try and use whatever I can to try and dampen the sound so we're not really drawing attention to ourselves.
No problem. All right. So with all that sort of working in your advantage, you do short work of it. And without too much difficulty, you find yourselves entering, after a short tunnel, you follow this sort of effluvium tunnel that leads out, and you follow it for a little while. And just as you're getting to the end of it, anyone with dark vision or the ability to use dark vision or anything like that? To be honest, actually, even if it's not on your character sheet, Scoos, your character should have dark vision because you're an Aesir.
Hold on.
Yeah, I created mine. You said to create it with the human base, right? Even though I'm
but
I'm not sure if I would have dark vision.
Would I feel like I might, but
no,
yes,
there's no
they might.
race really that have it as a base.
Oh, okay.
Hold on a second. Allies within 10 feet of me gain dark vision within 60 feet.
Because of what?
Because of my super fucking sweet paladin oath.
Oh my gosh. You're the MVP. Why don't we just we'll just
crowbar, pass without a trace.
Yeah.
Dark vision.
Bane definitely needs to go first. He's clearly the most valuable member of the order.
He's the Swiss
The
knife.
holiday season.
You will make it into this room, and what you realize as you enter this room is that this is a room that used to be a place where they would divert the flow of the effluvium to different places. If one tunnel was blocked, they could, sort of spin things around and whatnot. It's been kind of damaged and destroyed over time. And as you move in here, you see some of the old gears from the old mechanism that are still around. And the shipwright Rourke will explain that there used to be a problem in this part of town where when the water would rise sometimes in the spring, it would flood all the way in, and then it would back up the sewer. So they had this complex systems of gears and things that would reroute the water to different places to prevent the slums from being completely reflooded with waters from the sewers. So you can see some of the old gears that are still in this room, rusted and kind of all encrusted with all sorts of nastiness. It's also pretty clear as you kind of move through this room that some people have taken to living here. They're not here now, but you can see remnants of where people have been sort of slumming it out, living in here because they didn't have places to stay up in the top world. What I would like you to do as you enter this room is for everyone to give me a perception check. If you have any sort of alertness base, power bonus or something.
Well, I would if I chose other stuff. All right, listen.
That is a 15 for me.
Oops, that is a 10 for me.
9.
So, Anche, and so I'm going to just going to put this token here, and that's going to signify the people that are with you. I just don't want to have to put a whole bunch of tokens there. As you walk into the room and sort of spread out a little bit and kind of try to see where you're supposed to go next, Anche, you suddenly hear sounds as if someone's kind of scurrying, maybe kind of moving. You hear a and a little bit of moving about, and it's clearly someone that's not used to stealth. You hear a little bit of clanking, like maybe a weapon on a piece of armor or something. And
from where?
From up here.
Okay. What is the act? Oh, I see. There's like a door, like a portcullis kind of thing here. Okay. I'll hold up my hand, like cool war commanders do.
I'll pass it along
for everyone to stop. Yeah. And then I'll do this, pointing toward the room where I heard the noise, and look over at Fane since he's the closer one in that direction. and I'll start trying to head that way. I'm not going to be like, obviously they've heard us, so I'm not going to try to be sneaky, but like, I'm going to kind of just act like I didn't hear it, but just sort of walk normally over toward that direction.
Whistling as you go. All right, well, you can move your tokens wherever you kind of want to go set up if you want.
I can't move
What?
mine for some reason. I can move only Fane.
Odd.
I am in control now, Fane.
There's an OnlyFans joke in there somewhere, but I'm gonna leave that one alone.
Wow. Oh no. There we go.
So as you're kind of gathering around here, is that okay where you're set up right now? Is that about what you want?
Is that where the noise is coming from?
Sure. Is there like an exit point this way from?
Yeah. So to move your character, you've selected the hand right when you wanted to move your character.
Yep.
So there are exit points over here and over here and over here, but as you approach this area, you see now with the dark vision and the sort of wizard's marks that Andul has left, that there's probably something up here. Even though you can't see it right now, but there's that sort of rug there that's tacked to the wall. But there's like definitely an indication that you have to go up here.
Is it, just to clarify, is it lit in here? Like, are these torches that we see on the map?
About like that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
There are some torches and candles burning. It's low light, but with the dark vision you're getting from the Swiss knife, you're good.
I would like to walk up to where I heard the noise.
Okay.
I can't move myself though, so I'm heading in here.
I'm going to chicane your thing and put another one. See if you can move this one.
I don't know how to get rid of this label thing on mine, so hopefully I can move mine again.
No, I cannot.
Really odd.
I could on the other map. That's weird.
Okay. All right. Well, no big deal. As you start,
I'm heading in here. Oh, I made Fane big. I'm so sorry. There we go.
Cast enlarge.
Yes.
That would be useful in an underground tunnel. As you approach the door, you suddenly hear like a baby crying and someone going and then kind of muffling the sound a little bit, but you clearly heard a baby crying.
Okay, I'll just speak then. We come in peace. Who goes there? Come out. It's all right.
You're not with them? The blue-faced demons.
You can look at us.
See for yourself.
Leaning out of the shadows is something that two of you, Anche and Fane, I've seen before, and you, Tori, won't know anything about it, unfortunately, because it was a time when the character was an NPC, but several months ago, you were sent to a town that eventually, while you were there, was invaded from the underground by a large group of what can only be described as rat men, humanoids that have the features of rats. And in that city, when you got there, these rats were attacking the city and they were biting people and spreading necrophage, and there was a giant ogre rat. And you ended up joining forces with a bunch of bad guys to defeat these things. That's been your experience with these rat folk, and currently leaning out of the shadows to look at you is one such rat folk. And you know of their existence now because of that, and Anduil has told you that there have always been rumors that somewhere deep below in the underground there were cities where these creatures lived, and that they had originally been creatures created by the Necro King 100 years ago that had escaped his reign, but most of them were known to be plague spreaders. As you sort of approach this thing, you notice this one that kind of leans out a little bit of the shadows. His armor is covered in blood, and he looks like he's been through hell. He's got a wound. He looks completely battered. Like he looks like he's about to sort of keel over. He's got an eye patch. And he sort of leans forward and he says, I no longer have the means to fight very well, so if you mean us harm, it'll be a short one.
Do you have a child with you?
We do.
How many are you?
2 of us. And he motions, and from the shadows, holding a little bundle of joy in his arms, is another one of these rat folk, also looking like 50 miles of rough road, and he's got this little bundle in the crook of his arm that he's kind of My name is
He's going to
Arix.
lower his glaive.
Okay. My name is Arix. This is Ferlin. Maybe
Are you in?
step out.
We mean you no harm.
So they
Are you infected?
No, we are not. Many of our brethren are, but
Would I know does the plague have any sort of visible signs that you could tell?
yeah, for sure, it's the necrophage, and as soon as
that's okay.
their skin turns paler, and you see black veins kind of erupting all over it. So,
is it a pretty quick process?
Yeah.
Okay, so they're clearly not.
Yeah, no, they look.
Okay, what are you doing down here?
Well, currently trying to survive. We seem to have arrived here at a bit of a bad time. A lot of these blue-skinned demons running around in these tunnels. We heard the fighting upstairs. I'm guessing it's not much better outside.
Yes. What were you coming here to do?
It's a bit of a long story, but a little while back, a few weeks ago, we ran into a group of your people, he says to you, Anche. A group of warriors from your people in some tunnels up in the mountains, and they were looking for a child. We had happened to found it. They then tasked us with delivering it to, this is the part of the story that gets really weird, but to a silver fox that sheds golden tears. In any case, we tried to live up to our end of the bargain and deliver the child to this fox. However, by the time we got back to the tower where they'd been hiding, where the fox was waiting, he'd already been taken by the forces of the one you called Fugue. And so we took the child and headed back into the tunnels and tried to find, the fox told us to find someone named Anduil. He said we would find him in the city here, but, well...
What's his name?
Anduil.
Oh.
I'll look at Fane and Sethria.
I'm going to, at will, cast Healing Word on him.
Okay.
To
You cast it, he's like, oh, that is very welcome, Adam. Thank you.
7.
I appreciate your kindness. We have been doing our best to care for this child, but and the other one, the one named Ferlin, will bring it, and as he approaches, you can see that it's a human child. We're told that this is the child of some king in the north, a Thane or something of that nature, that has been taken from him. We were trying to bring him back, but unfortunately we got ambushed when we got here, and most of our party has been slain by these creatures. The child is poorly, and we've not really been able to feed it well these past few days. I don't know if you have any means of helping him. And the one named Ferlin will come to Cithriel, and just because you're the most, beatific looking one there, and he'd be like, he's been a very good baby. He doesn't really cry too much. He's been very nice, but I'm afraid he's not well. He's burning up, and we've not been able to give him much in the way of food for the past few days. And he'll offer the child to you.
Cute.
Bleak, Is any of this sound like, does any of this sound familiar or like anything at all? Like Andwill has not mentioned anything like this to
No.
me. Okay.
You know,
I
he's been
guess-
going back and forth doing a bunch of different things, but
Yeah.
he doesn't speak about everything.
For the sake of being thorough, may I make an insight check?
Mhm.
This almost
awkward.
it feels fantastical enough that I do believe them, but
I'm
I feel
awkwardly
like I
trying to
might
figure
as
out
well.
how to hold the baby.
You want to hold them like this, sort of like imagine you've gone to the market and have gotten a big melon, and you want to carry it home. You want to put your hand under it so that it doesn't fall, and then just put it in the crook. Yeah, that's it. Oh, look, he likes you, and the baby's already kind of, kind of calming down a little bit.
Cute.
Wait, what was? Excuse me. I'm sorry. I did not catch that, Bleak. Could you? What was the baby like?
The baby's like kind of calming down. I'm not gonna do
Just
it
want more
again.
baby noises. Come on, get the baby noises.
Oh my gosh. It's an alien.
That's right. It's a gremlin. Don't put water on it.
Carried by rat people in the sewers. Yeah, it's probably.
That is a 19 insight check.
All right. So, a couple of things. This Eric's character feels very trustworthy. Not only do you not detect that he's lying to you, he just has kind of a presence that speaks of someone who's very noble and kind of virtuous. He's a paladin, basically. So you don't detect any mendacity coming from him.
Okay.
He'll say, we just wanted to. We had promised we would take this child to safety, and we just wanted to live up to that. But I think
Yes.
we've gone as far as we can.
Please, just if you would give us a moment. We have likewise
do you know
been
this
through.
Andwell? Do you know this Andwell then?
I
Maybe.
do.
Or yes.
Give us a moment.
Yes, please. Ferlin, stop making cooing noises at the baby and let these people talk. Fern's like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss him. He's really cute. I would have thought like human babies would have been a little bit, like kind of a hairless worm, kind of disgust. But he's actually very cute. I quite like him. He makes these little noises and he's got these little fingers, and he goes on talking as they kind of.
Yeah. Anche will actually take the baby from Sethriel and
Or she drops it.
hand him back to the wreck, and just while we take a moment to confer.
Okay, he seems very happy to have a little baby back. The baby seems a bit less comfortable, but
He's my uncle too, Angel, right?
who's the big boy? Who's the big boy? Yes, you're very brave. Yes, you defeated all those demons. Yes, you did. Yes, you
Yes.
did. I kind of go off.
Thank you.
All right.
Excuse me.
What are we doing? I huddle up with these two. Do we?
Fantasy. If
I
Angel
don't
needs
think they're
baby,
lying.
We should
They
go.
would not know his name if he did not want them to.
That's true.
Just don't know what to do with him. Do you strap him to you somewhere?
You sure.
I've not been around many children.
Perhaps we could find someone in the civilian group to hold the child. I think your arms might be more useful not holding an infant.
Thank you.
All right. So we're aligned then. I guess we are now bringing a baby and these two.
We should probably introduce ourselves.
Absolutely. And continue on with our goal.
Right. All right. I'll step back forward.
And just as you step, one of the women that's in the group of civilians you have is like, I had a baby not too long ago. I probably could still feed him if you need.
Oh, wow. We're having a real Grapes of Wrath moment here. Okay.
What are the grapes of wrath?
It's a
The
book.
Dust Bowl.
I know, but this person's like, what are the
Oh. Okay.
It's wine that makes you angry.
Yeah. All right. Anche will nod and beckon the woman to come take the baby.
Look him over and take it, and Fern's like, kind of looks a little crestfallen, you know.
We are with the Order of Oathwin. I'm Anshe, Amarin. These are my companions. They can introduce themselves.
Cithriel.
Bane. And he will bow.
We
Pleasure
are
to meet you.
on our way now to, hopefully, a portal that will take us to Andwil.
Oh, and he insight checks you.
I would too.
It's sus. It's very sus.
We took the baby, and now we're just
We did.
we're going to see Andul. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't mention Andul first.
Come into my labyrinth.
Yeah,
We've got
he's got a 16, so.
Well, you know I ain't lying.
Well, it's a relief to hear that. We've been worried that we would fail in our appointed mission, but would very much like to return to our people. There's much to do there. If you'd be willing to continue this quest for us, we would be most grateful.
Yes.
And goes my uncle. I will get the baby to him.
The insight checks you, same thing. Yes.
Are you useful in battle? I mean,
Well, we've gotten here. We've managed so far.
You
we-
are alive.
Won't be going with you, however. If you'll take the young child, we'll try continuing to make our way back to our people. Several of our friends died on this particular journey up here, and we feel the need to return to our people and tell their families what happened to them.
I'm so sorry.
I think a lot of people are feeling what we're feeling these days. It's terrible times currently and perhaps ahead. I would only ask one thing. I know that generally speaking, your people regard mine with suspicion, and I totally understand that. Most of our brethren are unfortunately under the sway of some less than savory people, but we did come up here with the intention of trying to show that we were not all the same and that some of us might make good allies. So if you do speak of us in the future, if you would perhaps try and paint a prettier picture than usually gets painted about us, I certainly would appreciate it.
I definitely
Yeah.
will.
You've done much to balance out
We're just trying to help.
your impact in the world.
If you ever run across one of your people, and he points to Anshe, crikey, why am I drawing a blank at this particular moment? Miko, help me. What's the name of your brother's character? Jurgen. If you ever meet one of your people named Jurgen Astara, tell him that Eric's and Ferlin say hello.
I will do this. And I'll proceed to give them a little bit of a rundown of what's up above if they're like trying to get out of here and sort of the best routes and that kind of thing.
Says,
Since
yeah,
they're not coming with us.
we'll be heading downwards. We found some tunnels that lead out, but we were still trying to get the child to Andwil, so we were sort of stuck here. But do be careful. There are more of those demons running around in these tunnels.
Well, best of luck.
Take care. Best of luck to you as well. Ferlin's like, my little king, it was a pleasure knowing you. Miss you. And then, oh wait, and he runs over and takes off his little goggles. And he's like, here, for when he grows up, and he tucks them away in his little clothes. Like, you're good. Let's go. And he starts going, and acts like. Then Ferlin grew a little bit attached to that boy. Please see him safe.
I will.
And with that, it will turn away and skip out through one of the side tunnels and be gone.
All right. I guess
Walk-
we're continuing on then.
Walk and talk.
Walk and talk. You will continue through the tunnels, and having been warned that there are several other enemies around, you will manage to kind of avoid running into too much trouble. You will eventually find your way by following the marks left behind by Anduil. You will eventually find your way to an area that looks like it's the ancient sort of lower foundations of the city, and you will find an area in the wall that has been opened. When you get here, there are a couple of dead Dracovatch, certainly the work of Arix and his buddy, when you start looking around and kind of seeing what has happened. But you'll see a hole in the wall, and the marks that you're following lead into that sort of area, and continuing on for another half hour or so through various tunnels, you will eventually arrive at a tomb. You will come out through the door here at the bottom, and will find yourselves arriving in this hall. You don't recognize this place, and it looks extremely ancient. Like even the stonework and the brickwork that you've seen before that was the foundations of the city, this looks even more ancient. Everything here looks like it has not been opened in, forever. The depictions of the various statues are of creatures that you've never seen or heard of. The various tombs have languages written on them that you've never encountered either. A lot of this is just very much like stepping through a time portal almost, and being brought back several thousands years into the past. But as you walk into this particular room, one of the tombs you will see has a magical light burning above it. The light itself appears to be more recent. It's not something that was here back in the day. It's something that's been added perhaps in the past few months. But yeah, someone I think pointed it out, but it's over here, over that tomb there. Sorry, go ahead. No, go ahead. I was just going to say the people you're with kind of crowd in here, and they're very sort of cowed and awed by this entire thing. But at this point, they're just sort of happy to be going out of here. So
just happy to be here.
Yeah.
As we're walking, I'd like to ask Fane to understand. I want to understand a little more about this Lumen Nature, or whatever, however you say it. Like, basically, what is it that he's going to do?
You see, so Fane's like default face is like pensive and ponderous, and he's kind of just like, and when you like, do you just like walk up to him and ask him?
No, I think that's probably while we're like walking, and so I'll just say, I've been thinking more about our plan and the message from Anduil, and well, I'm wondering if by necessity to keep the portal open, you might not be able to step in through first. I'm not sure. What is the process?
Your guess is as good as mine, but the speaking of the portal, I have not seen this portal. I'm not like I'm not DM. I'm not familiar with this portal at all.
No, I mean you've Anduil is like a portal master. Like he's got portals.
Yeah, he just like zips and then leaves, and but you'll see Fane's eyes kind of like spark up a little bit when you ask him about this phrase, and he looks at you and he goes, well, have you ever done something wrong to achieve something right?
I suppose.
Have you ever killed someone in order to save a life?
Of course.
Returned out the light in order to wake up the next day in peace.
I suppose, yes.
It's all the same, right? You need the darkness to show you how bright the light is. If it was endless day and light all of the time.
So we must put out the torch.
Oh, possibly. I don't know if the room with the portal is dark. We're not in the room with the portal. We're just in the tomb room, right? Is the portal here? Hold on. Are we in the room with the hammer?
The message told you to...
It said, once you reach the crypt, find the tomb with an ever light burning above it and have Fane repeat what I taught him about the Luminature. So that
got it.
But I guess we maybe don't see this as we're like talking, but
sure. If we're approaching it and you're asking, we're not even in the room. This is like a little, okay. It's a principle, right? It's the first and most governing principle of all things that we do. Our goodness and it's actually not even about goodness or evil or right or wrong. It's about, something and nothing. And you can see Fane start to sort of like ramble and trail off and like.
Yeah, she'll kind of cut you off a little ways after that. Fane, as much as I value your philosophizing, I was hoping for something a bit more action-oriented at this point.
Okay, just so put out the torch to show the light.
All right, then it doesn't sound like it's some sort of ritual that you will have to maintain to keep the portal open.
I can say this phrase and utter this incantation near it and see if that would help. Have
you done this before? Really?
No.
Don't tell anyone else that.
I live it.
Right. Well, okay. We should, okay, so I guess we can get to the tomb room at least and maybe then discuss the exact order of events that we want to do here, because I don't know if we're going to be able to get all of us through or not.
I don't know how long this is going to last.
We cut to the three of you just kind of staring at this light.
Yeah.
You were
if we snuff it, does something happen? Is it magical where it's like one of those birthday candles that doesn't want to be snuffed, or...
Well, perhaps we should organize the people first and prepare them to enter in as soon as the portal opens, right?
I think we should have people as close as possible so everybody can...
Yes, we should have children up front, including the babe.
Too close. Not too close, because if the portal opens and they are too close, they might get cut in half. And he cuts to a whisper at that last part.
All
You're
right,
really starting to scare me with this
I will
portal.
have them stand here at the steps. Does that look like enough room?
Sure.
I take a slight step back. Make sure I'm not near it.
We're going to have to divide them up. We must avoid a trample. We have to have order, or else none of us are getting through. Sethriel, perhaps you and I can attempt to organize the crowd into some sort of order that people will agree to. You have a way with them.
I could certainly help get them organized. I just want to make sure we know how we want them organized. I think the child that we've taken on should definitely be one of the, obviously,
yes.
A lot to my uncle should be one of the first to go through.
I think all the children should go first. We have to have more than one child with us, I'm assuming, Bleak, right? Because these are just villagers and townspeople. Yeah, okay. So children and their mothers first, I would assume. And
I give a side glance to Fane again. I'm like, do you even know how big this will be? Like, how many can go through at once?
You can see Fane sort of like kind of eyeballing it, and then he looks at you and he's like, no idea.
okay. All right. Cethria, I think perhaps you should be at the front. You guide them through.
You and the
Sure.
little king.
And the little king. And then we can send the women and children. And then any able-bodied fighters can be at the back. And
Are you
then,
insinuating I'm not able-bodied? I could fight.
You-
of
I pulled
course,
up a will
we
like
need,
my weak.
we need you to be on the other side in case it's not safe over there. We cannot send all of the common folk through by themselves.
Okay, but Fane stays with you, right?
Yes.
I don't want you to be like some hero where you stay last and it cuts off.
Vane and I will stay behind and
I mean it. All right.
finish whatever this is.
I walk around and start organizing people. I try and put like the elderly and the children closer up front because I think it would be harder for them to dash through at the end.
Mhm.
And start organizing people. The more lithe and strong-looking sprinters near the back, giving everybody clear goals that as soon as portal opens, we are to move as quickly as possible, as orderly as possible. Everybody has your moving buddies. We all have our moving buddies. Holding hands.
I'm
Let's go through.
picturing air flight attendant Cithriel now. Your exits are
Exit
here and here.
Oh, with your voice and your manner, you managed to calm everybody down, get them kind of lined up and all orderly and sort of ready to go. And the ones that are kind of afraid, you managed to allay their fear, and within a few short minutes, they're as lined up as they're going to get.
No matter what happens, I want you all to go straight through.
Don't look back.
Don't look to the sides, don't look back, and keep moving as fast as you can.
Yes, ma'am.
I take a deep breath and I kind of pray to whatever gods I believe in and like still give. I'm going to give Fane, before we do this, I'm going to give him an inspiration. I believe in you.
I also
Please don't
believe
kill
you.
us all.
Fane's gonna lean down to Anche and go, can you tell me one more time what the letter said about the torch?
Yes. It says, once you reach the crypt, find the tomb with an everlight burning above it, and have Fane repeat what I taught him about the Lumen Naturae. The portal will open, and you know the rest. The letter doesn't say you know the rest. I was saying you, Fane, know the rest.
Of course I do. Fane's gonna walk up to the tomb, and you're gonna see him like Fane is his features are mostly kind of ageless, like they don't really have but every once in a while you catch a glimpse of like this ancient like look in his eyes. Like his eyes just kind of look like they've seen more than you can imagine. Like just they've seen a lot of stuff. And so he gets this like calm, stands in front of the tomb, and he says, not only is darkness known through light, but so too is light known through darkness.
As you speak these words and extend your hand towards the torch, you see both dark and light energy emanate from Fane's hands. And the thing with the dark energy it's not like it's necrotic energy or something like it really is like void. Like there is suddenly nothing there. Like the world has been sort of cut open and you're seeing behind it and there is just nothingness. It's not like, the necrotic or any sort of vile darkness, anything like that. And these two lights, the radiant light and this void light, sort of merge as they emanate from him and they encircle the light. And as they do so, the light itself takes on the same qualities as that energy. And some of it is swirling in this sort of non-light, really, and the other side is swirling with this light. And that's really the best way to explain it. It's not light and dark. It's nothing and something. It's non-light and light. And as this swirl, it keeps growing and growing and growing. As it opens up in front of you, suddenly you feel a blast of cold, frigid air. You see snowflakes drifting into the room. Beyond this portal, as it starts to open, you start seeing a landscape of mountains, snow-covered, trees that are, the branches are nude and just covered with these red flowers and snow everywhere. Ice forming around them. There's fog sort of filling it as this portal continues to open, and as you this portal grows in front of you and starts to open, it's this mix of a void and light, and suddenly as it opens just about the size, it's still growing, but it kind of opens up about the size of a normal person. You see sort of leaning on the other side of it, you see Anduil's face. It was like, well, you took your sweet time, come on, we don't have a lot of time, come on. And the portal continues to open. And as you start filtering people through, you emerge on the other side in this, on this plateau near this mountain. And you see in front of you a number of things, but the thing that arrests your attention the most as you step out is this giant skeleton from a creature that was probably about 12, 13 feet tall, that is now embedded in ice and the rock, and has this giant frozen sword sort of sticking out of its chest. And you come out into this mountain area that's surrounded by these trees with these weird red flowers, and you can see the sun setting way off into the west. You know that you're way north and west of where you started out originally. And it is cold. This frigid air is just sort of blowing through the entire thing. And as you step out there, Anduil is helping you. And he's like, come on, get them through. And the rest of the people are coming out. And he's like, did you bring an entire train with you? What's going on? And then he starts hauling all these people. And eventually, as the last one steps through, he's like, oh man, we're cutting it close. And he gestures and the portal slowly closes. And as you sort of look over, you see the clouds parting a little bit, and this ray of light sort of cuts through the clouds and falls on this giant that is sleeping there and on this sword. And you can see two figures standing next to it in the distance. You're kind of far from this scene, but you see Amela looks a little bit like Fane, dressed in similar armor with a sort of similar look, and he's talking to a young human woman who's dressed in furs, has dark skin and dark black hair. And as you arrive and take all of this in, Anduil says, well, a lot's happened since last I saw you, but I guess perhaps the most important thing that's happened is, and he gestures to the man that's talking to the woman, looks like Oathwind has returned. And on that, we will take a break.
What?
On that, we will take a break. And when we return, we will find out exactly why there's giants there and why he's got a sword in his chest. I don't know if Insomnia's still in the room. Are you still in the chat, Insomnia? If you are, that's where you're lying dead, my friend. First of the fallen.
Oh.
Thank you so much. Hey, it was a good little first half. We're going to take a quick break. Please don't go anywhere. Hang out with us. We're going to go refresh ourselves, and we will be back very shortly to take a look at what's going on. Cool.
Yeah.
Cheers. Talk to you in a bit. All right. Hey, thank you for hanging out with us. We super appreciate it as the group managed to escape the city that was under siege by the forces of Fugue, met a bunch of rat folk in the tunnels that had a human baby with them, which if you've watched Blackbird's Cry, you know all about that and who these people are and who that baby is. Now you got to hear. And eventually managed to step through a portal and have arrived out in the mountains at a place called First Fallen's Rest, which, if you watched the last episode, Coldest Sun, you know all about that and what that is. But if you haven't, we'll fill you in at some point. Something that I was just telling the players is the portal that they took not only took them through space, but also took them through time. So they've all had the benefit of a long rest. And so I've been able to heal up their wounds and regain all their goodies, because I'm a benevolent GM. And they paid me
on a journey of sight and sound. No, I'm just kidding.
It was the $20 really that did it. And so as they stepped through this portal, they arrived in this area here and saw a couple of people having a discussion, and we'll just take it back in time a little bit to just before the group came through the portal, as we are now joined by Miko, who is fighting through his debilitating cold to be with us here tonight. Miko, do you want to give a little blurb about yourself, or do you want to do it at the end?
Fuck RSV, we'll do it at the end.
All right, sounds good. People here know who you are anyways.
Yeah,
You've
I hope so.
Done that, got the t-shirt. And so, Othwin, freshly returned as of last episode from the land of the dead. Well, in fact, you were in Kursetu, which was purgatory, and then managed to find your way back here, perhaps a little different, a little changed. But as you've made your way here, you find yourself staring at this giant, the remains of this giant, who you know to be First Fallen, who you met in the last episode, lying there, encrusted in the mountain. He's been there so long. First Fallen, who was, of course, Shadesong's first victim, the first mortal being to die on this planet a very, very long time ago. And you stand there looking up at his body and this giant sword that's sticking in his chest, because Shadesong was a real asshole and he killed him with his own sword, because Shadesong was like that. What do you do?
So, breathing in the cold air, which is starkly different from the purgatory realm that he had just come from, and still trying to wrestle with the thoughts and senses of being returned, feeling momentary notions of panic as he doesn't see his sister, Jadwin, anywhere around, but somehow those moments fleeting as he has this realization that she's fine, she's elsewhere, she's doing something else important, and mostly just confused about being returned, because for him, everything, however much time has passed, which he has no recollection of whatsoever, all of that is still kind of just catching up to him and just inserting into his psyche a fairly malevolent sense of non-understanding that is difficult for him to get over in the moment. And it isn't until he turns and sees the figure of the young woman walking towards him that he feels some sense of familiarity, even though he knows he doesn't know her. And he stands and starts looking in that direction as he can feel her presence before he even sees her.
And this young woman who's approaching you is human, as I was saying earlier, as dark-skinned, that is burnt by sun and wind. and jet black hair, and is wearing furs and thick leathers, and obviously looks like she's not only come from an area further up north, but has probably been walking for some time. She approaches, and when she sees you, she hesitates a little bit and looks, and unless you do anything too remotely threatening, she will eventually approach slowly. With your own sort of elevated senses, you sense that there's something strange about this woman. She looks like a regular human woman, but you kind of get this strange feeling that there's something else about her, like almost like there's a secondary spirit or person that's inhabiting that same body. And in fact, as she approaches, you get the feeling that this controlling presence is in fact the one that is animating the body and start moving, and that there is another smaller presence that has kind of receded and been hidden away. And as she approaches, she looks with a certain amount of interest at the giant form that's there. And eventually she'll just sort of approach, staying a safe enough distance from you. And she'll say, "You're not who I was expecting to meet here."
I'm not surprised. I wasn't expecting to be here either. And Christian, just so I am aware, based on the last interaction that Oathwind had with Shadesong, and the handshake at the end, would he be feeling any of that presence?
So you feel the antithesis of that presence, right?
No, I meant within and
within him, yes. Within himself, yes. He does feel very similar to what you're kind of feeling from her. You get the same feeling, although you're the one who's kind of in the forefront and the other one's the one that's in the back. And as this person approaches, you can feel it getting agitated inside of you, and you can feel almost kind of struggling to try and get past you and kind of take control. It's too small to really do that, but you clearly, there's a backseat driver and they're yelling and they're kicking the seat now and they want to kind of
try
to get up front. But you definitely feel that energy that's coming.
So Oathwind will kind of just casually lift his hand and not clench his fist, but like flex his fingers somewhat as he feels the burning sensation in his hand from where Shadesong had touched him. And he looks to this young woman and says, "I think, though, that I understand perhaps something of our meeting. There is more to you than what you are shown, just as there is more to me than what you see."
Who are you?
I don't know who I am anymore. I am different than what I once was. But once, I was a man that wanted nothing more than to see the demise of death. And now, now I know that death lives on elsewhere, and I feel a part of him within me.
Did you achieve your goal? I can't even imagine that it would be possible, but...
No, yes, and the answer is probably somewhere in the middle. He sacrificed himself. And in the end, I think he knew that what he had been doing was wrong.
I find that difficult to believe, knowing him, but also what brought me here, the presence of his that I felt in the blood of that woman who tried to kill the person who has so graciously allowed me to make use of her body for now. What I felt in her blood was the malevolence and the fear and the death and the destruction that he was causing in this world. I find it hard to believe that he would feel remorse so swiftly.
Well, here's where we have ourselves at a bit of a disadvantage, in that I have no concept of how much time has passed since I died. And all I can say is the world has very likely changed much.
Several seasons have come and gone, but I'm unfortunately in the same position as you are. I've spent quite a long time inside Yggdrasil, not fully aware of what was going on, simply doing what I do, bring life to this world. I could feel my brothers gnawing a hunger, trying to devour every bit of life I was creating. And then it stopped suddenly. But I would not be able to tell you in terms, I guess, that we would understand exactly how long that was. Tell me, is he still alive then? Is Shadesong, my brother, still alive? Is he still here?
He is...
I sense him somehow, and
there is a fragment of him that is still here, within me. He gave me that, I assume, to give to you.
well, at least the universe's sense of irony is as sharp as ever.
He is paying penance, if that makes a difference.
I don't
The
wish
realm.
well.
The realms that exist between life and death are vast and confusing and full of bizarre spirits and grandmothers and he is making a semblance of something. Whether that sticks or not, I cannot say for certain. He was my greatest enemy for all that I can remember.
I don't understand what's happening, but my goal in coming here was to try and convince him to cease what he was doing. I understand that there is a place in this world for death, just as there is a place for life and a place for light and darkness and so on and so forth. And his presence is required. How will this world even carry on without the presence of death in it? I would think that that would be problematic.
Unfortunately, I think that Shadesong put into place machinations that ensure death will be ever present in this world, even if he is not part of it. Things got... No.
Oh,
no, I don't think so.
You have a spark of his power. He gave it to you. And again,
Yes,
the
but I
sense of
don't
irony.
think that I am meant to keep it. I think there is a part of me that feels as though the light that I once stood for is not necessarily as strong as I thought. And now I exist somewhere in between. And for whatever reasons, I think that what your brother did merely got out of his own control. Understanding him as I do now, and understanding the world as it once was, I think at the end, he didn't see the path forward, and he succumbed to the struggle.
So is this your penance then? If he's trapped in some shadowy underworld doing his, could this perhaps be yours then? For the things that you have done, that you now have to walk not just your path, but his as well.
Perhaps. It's not without merit.
Well, I must apologize to Saga then. It seems I've convinced her to come on this journey with me for no reason. I both dreaded and longed to see my brother. The last time we saw each other did not end very well. I'm assuming he might have told you. But
Well, from his point of view, it went significantly more poorly, I think, than even you realize. If it makes any difference, of the many, many years that I have lived in fighting for a cause that most thought hopeless, I can tell you that sometimes fate wants you to walk a certain path, even if it is for a short time. And you might be here because fates elsewhere have deemed it necessary.
perhaps I'm not convinced that fate is what led me here. There was a lot of hard work to get here and sacrifices made by others. But I guess if you are here now to, at least in some way, shape, or form, continue the work that he should have been doing instead of focusing on his own rage and guilt, and perhaps there can be a semblance of balance. I can return to this place. I will return to the tree, I guess, and continue doing what I do, and we can now enter into this dance together, you and my brother's stead. And I can release poor Saga Thane's daughter here to return to her father. It was very difficult asking an only child to give up her free will to allow me to do this, but it was a sacrifice that she made willingly, and I must repay it by honoring my own oath to allow her to return home now.
That is good that you understand the power of those oaths. Something that I think your brother did not understand until the end.
I think my brother simply too busy dying to actually do any living, and it blinded him to what was really going on. It blinded him to the life that was still flourishing around him, no matter how much he killed. They
It
say,
has a tendency to do that.
and the people we just left, the Jotun in Kettelheim, have a saying that it's good to take the time to stop and smell the posies, and perhaps that's something that many of us could learn how to do. Take the time to Well, she looks at the giant that's lying there. Take the time to do beautiful things before she points at the giant.
Yes, well, I'm trying to think of what my sister would have wanted to hear when I died. And all I'm reminded of is that nothing anyone else can say really matters in the end. You'll have to come to terms with this in your own way, I think. Sounds like you have a good path forward.
My purpose hasn't changed. I simply wanted to help ease my brother's pain. I think, contrary to what you've just said, I think words from someone who cares in the final moments are important, because if I had been able to speak to him in that moment where he thought he killed me, if I had been able to tell him that I did not hold a grudge against him for doing what he was supposed to be doing, and that I was okay, that he should continue on a path that would honor my memory rather than one that would desecrate everything I stand for. Perhaps those last few words might have saved a lot of lives and a lot of pain, a lot of horror to this world, but unfortunately, we did not have that opportunity. As for your sister, well, I think, though I may not have been able to speak to my brother here today, I feel that somehow we've connected, and I think that if life and death can find a way to connect, then you and your sister certainly at some point should be able to find a way to.
I know that to be true. I don't know why I know that, but I do. And if I could send you off with one last parting bit of knowledge, anyway. When your brother learned that you were, in fact, not the first that he slew upon realizing who he was, it changed him. And I would not be here, standing before you, if that were not true.
It's easy to think of things like life and death as immutable, but I guess we should take some comfort in knowing that even these forces can learn to change.
They can exist outside of their own immutable forms.
I don't know who you are, but thank you. I don't feel as though my trek here has been wasted. You've given me some peace of mind, and I hope that you can feel that Shadesong feels the same wherever he is. And I hope that you get to reconnect with your sister someday. It's not that the bonds of family are necessarily perfect or great, but it's always good to know that someone cares.
Indeed.
There are some people over there who seem to have taken quite an interest in us. Any of them your friends?
I honestly do not know.
Let's go find out exactly what these people are doing. So as you step through the portal, and the people start huddling around and kind of, gathering together against the wind and the snow and all that, and Will tells you it looks as if Oathwin has returned. he follows that up with, "Is that a baby?"
Yes, we managed to get some survivors to come with us to safety. You said yourself the city was lost, and we were giving them a way out. This child, we were tasked with delivering this baby to you. Something about the king in the north. And there were some ratkin. It was all quite confusing, if I'm being honest, but I was hoping you could help fill in the gaps.
Are you serious? And he rushes over to the woman holding the baby, and as he rushes, he's like, "Please forgive me." And he does a few gesticulations, and he casts Endure Cold and Heat on all these people. Here, you'll be a little bit more comfortable. May I see the child, please? And the woman looks at you, Anche, like, "Can I give the baby to this crazy man?" Or was it?
Oh, I'll nod to her.
So she hands him over, and he takes it, and he's like, he comes back towards you guys, and he's like, "You got this from..." Why is he wearing goggles? You got him from you got him from Novix, you said.
Yes,
Yes.
you're very brave.
Sorry, Bleak. Was it Erickson?
Arix.
Arix. Yeah, Arix.
Ferlin?
I'll give the names. And they got the child from a group of my people.
Yes, this child has been through quite an adventure. That he's still alive is a testament to the power that runs in his blood. If this is the child that Fugue was looking for, he is the youngest and last descendant of the original king of the humans in the north. He was not supposed to be here. He was supposed to be dead, but, well, I guess the universe is a funny way of doing things sometimes. He turns over and he goes back to the woman and he gives her a child. Like, "Very precious. Please take care of him. We'll discuss this at length once we sort out the other situation here. Please."
Yes. Speaking of the other situation, what?
Excuse me. Oh,
There's been a lot going on since you came to me a year ago, Anche. A lot of portents, a lot of visions, there was definitely things happening. I, for a long time, thought perhaps Shadesong was returning to this world, and so I started paying attention to these messages and portents that I was seeing and trying to decipher what was going on. And everything that's been happening in the past few months definitely hinted at something major on the verge of happening. I was surprised as much as you are when I arrived here, thinking I would find Shadesong, to instead find Oathwind. I've not spoken to him yet. You arrived just as I was about to approach him. As far as I can tell, that is Oathwind, dead now 500 years. But it's also not him. There's something else with him, something else about him that's different, and I'm not quite sure what to make of it yet. I would think that perhaps going to speak with him might help us understand the situation.
That seems like a logical next step. Yes.
I do want to caution you all. We are trying to bring back an order that is named after this warrior. But let us not let that blind us to the possibility that he may not be the Oathwind who he used to be. Let's not let our guard down. I don't know who the woman is. I guess we'll find out.
I never do. Let's go.
As we're
Rourke,
heading
you watch over
there-
these people.
Sorry.
Oh no, that's okay. As we're heading over there, I
Rourke.
punched Thane in the shoulder and I said, "Good job. Sorry I doubted you."
I knew it would work the whole time.
Yes, it's one of my portals. Of course it was going to work. Please,
It's not
people,
you I doubted.
please, people, just perhaps move back. There's a little escarpment you can hide behind there. If ever something terrible were to happen to us, walk south until you find civilization. And good luck. All right. He's like, too much going on. So the four of you will come down and approach the pair that is talking there. I really dislike having to play multiple NPCs in the same thing. So I'm mostly going to bother playing Anduil, but imagine that obviously Saga is reacting and doing stuff, but I'll try to make it clear when I'm speaking as one of the others. Just I was hoping to have another player here for this, but this is where we are at. So so as you approach them, Oathwin, you turn and you see these four people, one of whom you recognize from a long time ago. Well, you don't know exactly how long, but you recognize Anduil. He doesn't necessarily look much older than he used to, so.
From my own perspective of him, though, any aging on him is a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like even a small amount would mean that he is aged considerably.
Yeah.
Okay. So as soon as I recognize him, my guard will drop ever so slightly, and a broad smile will come across Oathwin's face. And as he stares at Anduil, and he says, "Damn, man, you've gotten old."
Anduil will sort of take this in and then look at the other three of you and go, might be him.
I see it.
You've not aged a bit. Do you know who you are?
To a certain degree, yes. Things have changed. And even though I may not appear to have aged, it has been quite the journey to get here.
Do you know how long it's been?
Well, for me, it seemed a few days that lasted an eon. I could tell you that it has been some amount of time here, but judging by your face and the few additional hairs that have turned white, I would say a considerable amount of time for you.
500 years. A few more.
Is that all?
Since you and Shadesong met in combat. The keep is gone. The world has changed tremendously. May I introduce to you the Order of Oathwin?
The what?
The Order of Oathwin. And he turns. My niece, Cithriel. Fane, a member of your race, I do believe. And Anche, who, by the single power of her will, resuscitated your name in this group, although we are a paltry few now.
Well, not exactly sure how to react to that one. It is an honor to meet all of you. And his gaze kind of lingers a moment on Cithriel. Yes. Most definitely an honor. And he just
takes
kind
a
of
deep
bows his
bow.
head.
All right, we can enjoy all the pleasantries we want at some point. We have to get these people to safety.
Oh, yes, you have a crowd, I see.
Would love to sit down with you and sort of try to make sense of all this. But
We'll have time. We'll have time for that.
Is that a friend of yours then?
Yes. And he thinks back to the conversation that he was having. This is a Saga. Saga? This is apparently my order.
An
he
order
just-
named after you.
Yes. And he just kind of seems confused and befuddled for a moment. And before we get too deep into things, I have a task that I must see to. Pardon me. And he turns and walks over towards the giant, the skeleton of the giant laying upon the ground. And he goes and places a hand upon the enormous sword, the blade of the sword sticking out of the ground. And he seems to be lost in thought, maybe prayer, for a moment, as he contemplates how he's supposed to fulfill his oath that he took before coming here.
Well, you usually grab a sword by the handle.
Fair enough. Reach both hands up high and try to wrench the enormous blade that is taller than himself out of the ground.
As you reach out for it, you hear a deep rumbling around you, very similar to the voice that First Fallen used to speak with. And as you reach out, the sword starts to shrink, sort of. It's a magical sword. It's what it does. It starts to shrink, and as you reach for it, by the time your hand gets to the cross part, the cross piece, your hand wraps right around it. And it's a fairly big, great sword now, like on the really big side, but it's definitely sort of wieldable. And as you grab it, you feel the power that is in it, and you understand that the power that is in this sword now is a power that has come from, that is new, that has come from the will of the first of the falling having forgiven the one who slayed him, and the one who slayed him having expressed regret at having done so. And as you pull the sword away, the body slowly starts to decompose. It's still kind of there, frozen, all that, but it's starting to slowly go back as the rock underneath it starts to absorb it. While that's going on, and he's reaching for the sword and sort of grabbing it, Andul has gone over to Saga and he's been talking to her a little bit, and he says, well, do I have a piece of information for you then? And then as he says that, I would need everyone to roll initiative for me, if you would.
Did this motherfucker just replace somebody else? Hold on a second.
You're the one who wanted to fight somebody, buddy. Get ready.
So you're all sort of in
Dirty.
this area.
Oh no.
Oh, I have advantage on it. Yes.
I do too, and
What
I'm
is
glad
your
because I got
character
I
thing?
got a 1 at first.
I don't know.
1 + 3, so total of 4. No.
So if you would do me a favor on, and I can do it for you if you're having difficulty interacting with Owlbear, but if you right click on your, left click, sorry, on your icon, your character, it'll pop up a thing that says label, and you can write your initiative there, which helps me to track it. If you're having trouble clicking on it, just let me know and I'll fill it in for you.
Okay. You said right click on it?
Left click, sorry.
Oh, left click?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Still working on clicking on my token.
What's your initiative already in?
10.
Shit.
10.
Doing real hot here. Real hot.
Hey, it's better than 4,
True.
which is what I would have. I was saying that because that's what I would have gotten if I didn't have advantage.
So
All right.
as Endwell is talking to Saga, and as Oathwin is reaching for the sword, you start hearing this moaning sound that's like a choir of angry souls that seems to emanate from the ground itself. And suddenly, as these two things are sort of happening, these voices start to rise in this crescendo, and it's reverberating through this little valley and echoing off the mountains around it and kind of coming back at you. And there's just this total cacophony that rises of souls that are screaming in pain. And suddenly you see coming towards you a ball of gold and black that is falling from the sky. And as it's streaking down towards you, you hear the voices of these souls sort of erupt even more powerfully. And as this sort of silver gold black ball arrives sort of on top of you, it shatters, and suddenly you see emanating from it basically this thing looks like it was holding thousands of souls prisoner in it, and now they've all escaped, and they're just sort of starting to whirl around in this massive whirlwind of souls that have erupted, and they're just sort of screeching everywhere, and the sound is piercing your eardrums, and they're moving through you and chilling you to the bones. And as that's happening, you notice a couple of things. One, coming up the path towards you are a number of Dracovac that have been climbing up along the mountain, and there's quite a number of them coming up. The path. And in the sky, hovering there, sort of above them and sort of coming down, you see a massive dragon. No, you see this woman. Who looks like a 15-year-old human child wrapped in these oily, greasy, dingy furs. There is a blackish liquid that is pouring out of her eyes. She's on these black-purple wings, holding a sword that is just writhing with dark purple energy. And as she sort of comes down, you realize she's the one who threw this silver ball. And will say that this is Fugue. And basically, let's see what happens. So,
hey, Christian, we just got raided by Lord Gasimba, by the way.
Oh, Jay, thank you so much.
Couldn't have had better timing.
Yeah, just in time to see
Just
the
in time.
climactic battle of this year-long, 6 months it took us, but the first season of Shadesong. So these the heroes are in this valley. This giant that is there is the first giant, the first living being to have ever died. And there's been a reunion of sorts between a bunch of characters from disparate storylines. And as they're all sort of meeting and talking, the big bad guy, Fugue, who's this creature of life and death and shadows, has arrived along with her demonic hordes to confront these characters. We're probably going to go about another 30 minutes, Robert.
It's everything all at once. Again, there's that movie, 15-year-old.
Exactly. So at 17, you will get to go first, then Fane, as you see these forces come running up, and hovering up in the air about 50, 60 feet up in the air is Fugue. And here, I'll give you a good...
So she's not pokeable. That's
It's
fine.
pretty high. You're going to need like a pretty long stick. Here, I'll give you a better look at Fugue here briefly. She has a little bag at her belt, and there's these rotten apples in it. She's not holding one right now because, she's got better things to do with her hands, but...
Bane has never met Fugue before.
Nope,
right?
but you heard of her and you've seen her
know
work.
about her, and I am vehemently not into this creature. Like you all, like Anche and Cithriel, you would see like the most grim determination come over Fane as he sort of like crunches through the snow, like past you all. When I get to move my token again, like almost like in front, and is just gonna look at. Let me see what's the range on this move. Damn it! Yeah, I'm going to look up at Fugue and just bellow with all of my ancient Asir lungs. Ball, and I'm going to cast Command on her.
Okay.
Which means that she needs to make a Wisdom saving throw, please.
Okay, so she has advantage to resist that kind of power.
That's fine.
He doesn't. He's never met her before.
I don't know that.
Yeah, that's right. I'm just saying so you know. So that's Wisdom?
Yeah.
All right, so I got a 25.
I think that'll do it. I think that'll save. I'm pretty sure that'll save. Oh, this is going to be a good old time. This is going to be a good old time. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and you see Fane like take one of the most aggressive protective stances. Like he's holding onto this glaive that's starting to like glow with light.
Awesome. So you yell that out at her, and she literally looks at you like, someone looks at a harmless housefly or something. You really like, you did not impress her in any way, shape, or form. Not saying this to hurt your feelings, Scoozy, but, so that was at 17. Is anyone at 16? No. So at 15, she gets to go, and she's a bit of an annoying person. So she is going to go ahead and cast a really annoying spell because, whatever, that's what she does. She is going to drop Hunger of Hadar.
Oh, it's such a good one.
20-foot radius. So she's going to drop it like it's hot.
No.
What do you mean no?
Don't do it. No, just kidding. I mean, she's going to do what she's going to do. I'm just saying no.
Yeah. It's going to be about that. Right on top there. Just so you know, guys, the way I run my combat, we're going to use the same initiative throughout. And you can move wherever you want on the map. I don't count movement points, so you can go wherever you want. All right, so she drops her Hunger of Adar right there. So she opens a gateway to the Dark Stars. 20-foot radius sphere of blackness and bitter cold appears, centered on point of range, lasting for the duration. This void is filled with a cacophony of soft whispers and slurping noises that can be heard up to 30 feet away. No light, magical arts can illuminate the area. The void creates a warp in the fabric of space, and the area is difficult terrain. Any creature that starts its turn in the area takes 2d6 full damage, and a creature that ends its turn in the area must make a dexterity saving throw, or take 2d6 acid damage as milky, otherworldly tentacles rub against it. It's like a hentai freaking spell. It's pretty disgusting. And yeah, so she drops that there because she can. And then she is going to grant you your wish. And she's going to drop down and just kind of dive bomb and come right at you. And as she sweeps by, she's going to take a shot at you, and you will be able to give her a attack of opportunity when she does so. But she's going to roll her attack first on you and probably miss. Oh yeah, she misses with a 9. So she comes at you with this sword that's wreathing in black and darkness and swings at you and just misses. And as she goes by, you can go ahead and take a shot at her.
Is this me, Fane?
Yeah, Fanes, go for it.
Yeah. So I got that sweet glaive. So it actually hit her with 10-foot reach. So it actually hit her before she got close to me. But I rolled a. Let's see what that. Oh, beautiful! 28 to hit.
Yeah, that hit.
Does that hit?
That hits her almost twice.
Does
over.
that hit?
Yeah.
Great. I'm just gonna smite too. I'm gonna do a do a second level divine smite into this.
Nice.
Got to do what you got to do.
So that's 10 radiant damage plus 1 moment. 10 radiant plus another 11. So 21 radiant damage to her with an opportunity attack.
Awesome. Where's my...
Wait, is she an undead or a fiend?
Well, she's definitely fiendish, but no, she's not a fiend.
Damn it. Okay.
All right, 21 damage. Nice. Take a good chunk out of her. She kind of regrets.
Oh, hold on a second. I lied. I rolled the wrong dice. I rolled the wrong D6s. Hold on a second. That is the same, actually.
Nice. All right. So she kind of flies by and then hovers sort of near you at 14. I think next would be Saga. She starts, she will have to do her dex check. She's completely lost. She doesn't know what's going on. And then at 12, it'll be Anduil, who will try to dispel this thing. All right. So, thankfully for everyone involved, and I'll manage to get rid of this thing. And then he will move because he's like, screw that noise. All right. Then at 10, at 10, go for it, Anche.
Okay. I've been going back and forth with what exactly I want to do here. So I think I will okay, oh yeah, and we have all these bad guys down here that we have to deal with also. Okay. I'm going to run up next to my good friend Bane. And I will cast a thing. Yeah, I will cast a thing. I will cast.
Do it.
I will cast Spirit Guardians. I think is what I'm gonna do.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I'll do that for now.
Okay.
So that is 15 feet around me. These angelic beings appear and start flying around me. Obviously, I'm going to designate my allies as people who are unaffected by it. But my enemies, their speed will be halved in the area, and when they enter the area for the first time, they're going to have to make a wisdom saving throw or take some damage.
Okay. I will put this around you, even though it says hasted and you're not actually hasted, but it'll give us So it's about like that.
Hasted.
Yeah, you're not hasted though. It's
Yeah.
not anything that's like guarded or anything like that. Miko, we're gonna need a new effect token. All right. Now I can't see people's reactions. Okay, so anything else you want to do?
I think that's all I can do because I don't have a bonus action that I can trigger at this point. So
All right.
that's what I'll do.
So at 9, they're gonna come in like gangbusters. They're gonna move in like they mean it. Trying to actually they're pretty single-minded. They're gonna come at you anyways and take the damage because that's how they roll.
Ah, holy crap.
Yeah, some of these are going towards Miko. He's kind of very far, so I'm gonna say they can't quite reach him this time. All right. So they walk into your things. How much damage do they take? Oh, sorry, I have to do a.
They need to make wisdom saving throws. DC 14.
Okay. All right. And can you give me the damage?
Yes, it is 3d8 on a failed save,
Go for it. Roll
or
it.
half as much.
Roll it.
Okay. Can you do that for me, please? All right. That is 11. 11 radiant.
All right. They don't like radiant damage as they kind of run into it. Like your little swirling angels, things are hitting them, and like their skin starts to burn. And they're clearly regretting their action. They really don't like radiant damage, so that the ones who took full damage actually took double damage. The ones who took half damage took the full damage. I have no clue what's happening there. I'm not doing that.
Yeah, that's me. I'm trying to figure it out.
Exploding with radiant energy.
That's right. That's okay. We can sort of visualize it. Go ahead, Oathwind. It is your turn. Oh no, sorry, they get the attack. Never mind. So there is one on
I mean, they
Cithriel.
cannot attack. That's fine.
Oh
Yeah.
no, they're going to attack because that's what they do. So Cithriel, that's a 20, a dirty 20,
Yes, that hits.
and a natural 1. So you're going to take 1d8 plus first. You're going to take 8 points, and that was the flame tongue longsword. So you're also going to take 2d6. So that's 8
What?
plus another 7
Shit.
fire damage from the flame tongue. The first sword out. Flame tongue. After that, I think we have 2 on Anche. So here we go. Anche, that's a dirty 20.
Yeah, my AC is 18.
Okay,
Stop rolling so well. DM? Oh my god.
15's going to miss. Yeah, I'm not rolling that well. D&D Beyond extremely well when I'm rolling 26. That was almost a natural 20. So 1 flame tongue and then 1 regular longsword. So the flame tongue gives you 7 slashing
Okay.
plus 8 fire,
Okay.
and the regular gives you 12 slashing. As these 2 creatures come in at you, and one of them hits you with the flame tongue and misses with the other one, and the other one misses with that one and hits you with his regular longsword.
Ow.
Up close,
Okay.
they're very kind of scary, and their skin looks kind of metallic and blue, and they got these weird sort of red engravings all over their body, and you can almost smell the corruption and the sort of disgusting necrophageness that's on them. And because you got hit by one of the regular swords and not the flame tongue, I'm going to ask you to do a Constitution check.
I literally just rolled 3 natural ones. I've saved the first time because of my my concentration check to keep my spell. I saved the first one because I have advantage, and then the second one I was rolling advantage, and I rolled straight up 2 nat ones. I don't even know how that happens. Can I use my inspiration?
You can totally go for it.
Okay, because that feels like absolute bullshit.
No problem. Go for it.
Okay. I will have you guys know the next roll was another 1.
What?
But then I'm rolling with advantage, so I got a 20. We're good. I kept my concentration, but that was 4 1s
whatever
in the
dice
span
you're
of
rolling.
6 rolls.
Remove those
I
dice.
need new dice.
They need a timeout. They need
You need a
timeout.
new mouse to click the button.
Absolutely
Oh my
crazy. Okay.
All right.
I keep my
Now give me a
concentration, but I need to
con
make
check.
a con save
Yeah,
for
for necrophage.
necrophage. Okay, that is a 19, so 22.
All right. So as it hits you with the sword, you can sort of see the dark writhing thing on it that almost feels like it's malevolent and alive. And as the sword hits you, this thing tries to latch on to you and kind of get into the wound, but you kind of manage to resist and pull back enough that the stuff just kind of drips to the ground, but there's still more of it on the blade. So you just avoided.
Okay. Also, I just remembered, because the circle wasn't on the map anymore, but I should have taken damage from the Hadar Black Slurpee zone.
Black
and
Slurpee
I
zone?
didn't do that.
Okay.
I don't remember what save I had to make.
Well, you take 2d6 cold damage. So
Okay.
that's 8 damage, and then you make a dex check, but we'll say that you make the dex check and it went away, so it's fine. We won't do the second part. Since you were honest enough to remember that you needed to do it.
Oh, thanks.
No problem. I'm a benevolent GM. And then on
You
Fane,
keep saying that.
You keep saying that. I don't know what you're talking about.
and then Fane, you get a couple attacks on you. So Flame Tongue is 24. 12 with the regular longsword. It's not going to go anywhere. 27 with the Flame Tongue, and 8 with the regular. So you got 2 Flame Tongue hits.
Oh, cool. The better ones.
Yeah, well, so to speak. So that's 6 slashing plus 6 slashing plus 7 fire plus 3 fire. All right.
All right.
Oathwind.
Oh, do I get to actually do something now?
Yes, you get to go now. Sorry, there's a lot of
Okay.
dudes.
Yeah, well, I
Lot of
rolled like
dudes.
crap. I rolled crap anyway. So, Oathwind, I'm assuming understands Foog in this situation,
Mhm.
just innately, even though he doesn't know the details that perhaps some of these others know.
It's definitely
And-
bad juju, yeah.
Right. And at the very least, he can feel the burning sensation deep within him from the presence of Shadesong. Right. So I think the first thing that he's going to do is invoke his Radiant Soul
Okay.
and sprout spectral wings made of radiant energy. And without question, just fly straight at Fugue, wielding the sword that has somehow magically been able to reduce to size to fit his hand, the blade of the First Fallen, and swing it down upon her.
As you approach her, by the way, as you fly in towards her, now that you've been close to both Liv and Saga and Shadesong, you feel similar energy coming off of Fugue, as if she's part of the same, she's part of the same energy. She's made of the same energy as those two, like part of the same family, basically.
Interesting.
Go for it.
Yeah, first attack. That is a 25 to hit.
That is.
Okay. I will expend one use of my Divine Smite. Let's see, that is going to be... Do I need to separate the damage, or does it not
No,
matter?
it's okay. You can lob it all together.
Okay. That is going to be a total of 31, including my +4. So
Radiant.
31 points damage on the first.
I just need to know what's radiant and what isn't.
Oh, that's why I asked you if I needed to separate the damage.
Oh, my thought you just went from separate attack. Okay, we'll assume that this 31 is radiant. Cool. 62 damage. Nice.
Oh,
Hang on. No, I'm looking at the roller. 11 of that was not radiant.
Okay.
So 20 of it was radiant. 11 of it was not.
All right. Nice.
And then the second attack is a 21 to hit.
Okay.
And I will also be doing a just first level Divine Smite on this. Let's see here. Yep. So 13 of that is physical, and wow, that is crap. Only 9 radiant.
Okay. She will detonate her Hellish Rebuke as you hit her.
Oof.
Give me a Dexterity saving throw.
You have You have a +4 to that because you're within 10 feet of me.
Oh, right. And for what it's worth, anyone that is within 10 feet of both Fane and I has a total of +9.
I'm not.
Oh, let's just hang out more, right?
Yeah.
That's the cool guy corner.
Unfortunately, my dex is complete garbage, so even with that +4, I only got a 12.
Okay. It's not going to cut it. You're going to take 6d10 fire damage.
60-10.
Excuse me?
Holy
From a single Hellish Rebuke?
Yep. So that's 37 points of fire damage.
All right.
Oh.
my God.
Aren't you glad she didn't do that to you, Fane?
Yeah.
As you strike her, and from her entire body, just this wave of blackish flames just sort of shoot out and engulf you, and make you extra toasty, which is good because it's kind of cold out here. Awesome. So that was at 10, and then at 4, Cythriel. Oh, there we go. That's much better. Cythriel at 4. Were you done? I'm sorry, Oathwin.
Yes. Oathwin is done.
So Cythriel.
That's something I did not mean to.
Are you going to drop the voice?
Okay.
Whitney Houston style?
So I am going to let me get back to the map here. I'm not going to move out of the attack zone so I don't get an attack of opportunity, but I'm going to move closer to here where I can hopefully hit the most characters. I'm just going to start to sing the most pure, note ever to try and hit as many of these little baddies on the ground with the celestial octave, radiating from my body.
As she sings this note of this purest, most angelic quality, you've never heard anything like this before. It is, it emboldens you. It freaking cures you. It does like all sorts of miraculous things. And as it spreads out, it starts to overcome. It's slowly starting to spread from her. And as she sings, it starts to overcome the wailing of the souls that are sort of spinning around you from the thing that she cast earlier. And as this note starts to reach out, the Dracovach that are aligned around you, you see them suddenly, like their eyes grow wide, and you can clearly see the skin of their that you can see on their face, on their hands, start to erupt as the necrophage that's inside of them, that basically they are sort of possessed by this living virus of the necrophage, starts to violently exit their body by the nearest possible, shortest possible path. And all this blackness starts to erupt from them everywhere, just tearing them apart. And as it's pulling out and then it is being exposed to the song, you can literally hear it screaming. The necrophage is sentient, and as it gets hit by this note, you can hear it screaming, cutting through all of this, and it just starts to basically burn out and explode as it rips out of these bodies. And so you imagine your blood just forcibly, physically being ripped out of your body, and that's literally what's happening. And as she sings that, all these freaking creatures that are here.
So that beautiful high octane opera note that cracks like wine glasses, but it's like stunning.
Little Fifth Element going on.
Yeah.
That's it. And
Instead, it rips blood out of people.
it rips the necrophage out of them. And now she's saying she reaches all of these, and they all just fall apart as they're just completely ripped apart by this.
Well, I was gonna say they get a charisma save. It says a 15, but you can just have them fall apart too. That's fine.
You're super boosted. You get all these guys around you now. These other mythical beings around you. So all these creatures just start to fall apart, and the necrophage spills out of them and just poofs up into smoke into the air as you keep singing this most wonderful of notes. Awesome. Good job.
And as a bonus action, I'm going to give a bardic inspiration to our dude up in the sky who's fighting the big bad.
All righty.
Just because he looks like he could need a bardic inspiration.
Oh yeah, that's might be.
That's not you. That's Oathwin.
No.
But
Oathwin.
we are going back up to the top of the round with.
Are we up in the sky? I thought we were just like
I thought they
You're
were
floating
kind of
just a
hovering
little bit.
like,
down.
yeah, you're like 15 so feet off the ground kind of thing.
Yeah.
15 feet.
Okay.
You get a D8.
Motherfucker.
All right, 10 feet off the ground. Is that better?
Thank you. God damn it.
It's just stressful.
So as you're listening to Ronnie James Dio there belting out that wonderful note,
Ouch.
what are you going to do? Bring it, Fane.
Oh yeah. Bonus action. Going to cast Thunderous Smite.
Okay.
And then I'm gonna hit her with my super badass glaive. And Othman, it looks like familiar probably to you a little bit. This looks like very much like your sister's glaive a little bit.
Okay.
So that is a natural 19. So
Nice try. It doesn't do anything.
28. And so, wow. Okay, so hold on a second. 28. I'm also going to pump a second level Divine Smite in that because why the fuck not?
Why not?
So that's going to be a total of 10, 15, 21, 30 radiant. Nope. Sorry. 24 radiant damage and 6 thunder damage. And she needs to make a strength saving throw.
Well, she's not going to make this strength saving throw because the 24 radiant damage, which becomes 48, is enough. As you strike her with it, she lets out this ear-splitting scream. Her skin and her clothes start to erupt as this blackish, grayish sort of smoke starts to emanate from it. The skin on her face peels off, and all semblance of a normal human face kind of get ripped away as it's all replaced by this smoky kind of shadowy being that's underneath there. The body just completely falls away like a suit, like drops to the ground. The clothes follow it, and she's just this being of shadows and smoke now that's kind of hovering there. Her wings have broadened, and they're also sort of turning to this smoky sort of color. She seems almost insubstantial as she's growing, and as you can feel the necrotic energy that's sort of irradiating for her. Before I continue with that, you can continue your actions if there's something else that you were going to do. As you see that having happened, and like her physical self has just shattered. You've completely destroyed it.
So the smite would have been she falls prone, but I don't think that's going to work here. So I'm just going to hit her again.
Okay, go for it.
With a 12, 21 to hit.
So that hits.
I'll pump another second level Divine Smite into this.
As you hit her, you realize as you hit her that while you did hit her, the damage that you're doing doesn't do anything. It just completely evaporates the second your weapon hits her. All the radiant damage that's in it, you can see part of her being that's like full, this sort of weird darkness that kind of moves and counters it, and the radiant damage just sort of hits it and kind of completely evaporates and sort of bounces off without doing anything to her.
This is new. I think there's a moment where Fane like watches the light absorb into the darkness, and he kind of like is intrigued. And he's gonna look over at Oathwin and say, "You, how do you fight this kind of thing?"
Well, Oathwin doesn't get to answer because it's her turn.
Is she within 15 feet? Is she in my spirit guardian soup?
Yep.
That is a wisdom save, and I'll roll the damage.
Is it it's radiant damage?
Yeah.
So same thing, like it just sort of, as soon as it goes to hit her, it's kind of like it turns into nothingness and sort of just wraps around her and flies off. Like it does nothing to her at this point, this radiant damage, unfortunately for you. And anything else anyone want to do?
I mean, it's her turn. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's what I was asking before.
Nope, that's all.
Okay.
No.
Can I get everyone to make an intelligence saving throw?
As you know, we
What's
all
our
put a
bonus
lot of
from you
points in-
guys? What's the deal here?
5 from me, 4 from him.
I don't
Okay.
think
You all get
I
plus
think I'm
9.
too far back.
Yeah, you probably are too far back.
Dang it. All right,
Okay.
intelligence saving throw, you said?
Intelligence saving throw.
Natural 20.
Nice.
That is a 19 for me.
Oh no.
17.
5.
You have
I'm really
inspiration.
concentrating on singing. Oh,
I do. Screw that.
oh, that's right. Yeah, I have.
I got
17's good.
I'm gonna use
17's
it.
good, by the way. 17 makes it. 17 is the target.
That's better. That's 16.
16
No.
falls just short.
Ugh.
Oh,
Are you going to reroll or?
She
I already
did.
did.
Okay. So what's happening is as she's just standing there, she starts to sort of just summon all these energies, and the particles of light and shadow that create all of you are starting to separate. So wherever on your body there's a shadow cast by your nose from the light of the sun, or under your throat because of your chin, or because of your armor or your sword, wherever there's a shadow, it's starting to separate from where the light is. You're literally being pulled apart as she's separating the shadows and the light that make up the beings of who you are. So if you made your saving throw, you're going to take half damage. If you have both resistance to radiant and necrotic damage, you can apply that to this situation.
Wait, so we would need resistance to both? Or
Yeah.
resistance?
You need resistance to both.
Oh no! Please don't kill me.
All right. So
This is what he meant by being a benevolent DM,
That's
just so
right.
you know.
So the max damage is damage is 26. 26 is the max damage. If you took half, you get 13.
I'm still alive.
As your bodies are starting to sort of separate like this, like we did, it's literally like peeling the shadows off of the lighted parts of you, almost like you can feel that happening. It's not literally physically happening, it's sort of what you're feeling, and these little motes of shadows and light kind of float off of it and sort of go towards her and kind of get absorbed into the being of who she is. And then that was at 15. So at 14, Saga will draw her sword and come into it and take some attacks at her. Her swords do nothing to her, unfortunately, same as with the rest of you. And then at 10, it'll be Anche.
Cool. Good. Okay. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. I'm going to cast Prayer of Healing.
Okay.
Prayer of Healing has a 10-minute cast time, I think.
No, this is instantaneous. I know the one you're thinking of, and I don't remember what it's called, but this is instantaneous.
Oh, okay.
up to 6 creatures of my choice, so I'll just target all of you guys. And Saga, I guess, I don't know if she's been damaged by any of this stuff, but she can have it too.
Okay.
And I will... Do I want to juice this at all? I think I will cast it at a 3rd level, so it'll do a little more cast. All right, so everyone gets... Oh my gosh. I'm just rolling so many ones. Everyone gets 8 health.
Hey, I'll take anything, man.
Better than a kick in the pants, as they say.
I rolled 2 ones on my 3d8.
Oh no.
How many ones is that for
Ouch.
you tonight?
You need a whole switch.
That would be 8. I'm up to 8 now.
Oh
That
Have
is
you tried
actually crazy.
changing the dice in D&D Beyond?
no. Don't roll this fuzzy
You know,
dice.
I
I've
needed
tried
to
those.
start
They're
rolling
great.
physical dice, apparently, because D&D Beyond does not have my best interests at heart tonight.
I only roll D&D Beyond when I'm GMing because they roll really high. But when I'm a player, they roll like crap.
I have my stash, so whenever stuff goes wrong, I go to a different die.
At 6, it'll be Ulfwin.
Yeah, so in this moment, does Oathwin have any understanding of this new form that she has?
Yeah, so what you're kind of getting between you and what you have of Shadesong and everything else is that you basically... half of her is protected from radiant damage and half of her is protected from by basically it takes an attack that is a mixture of both radiant damage and void damage to be able to injure her at this point. There's this form that she has is sort of a protective form around her, so you would need something that would do both light and dark damage at the same time in order to breach that thing.
Okay. And based on what she just did, which Oathwin barely felt, it basically is just... she is just made up of both forms now, right?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. In that case, I think that Oathwin is going to move down away from her over to Cithriel, and standing in front of her in a way to protect her, he is going to cast... I don't know if it will actually make a difference here, but I'm going to do it anyway. Cast protection from evil and good upon her. Because he understands the power that she has with the pure note. You're muted.
Cool, so you are protected. Anything else you want to do?
No, that's all I can do.
All right. Cithriel.
Well, I wish I could be more beneficial, but I'm definitely going to have to cure wounds on myself. Because, damn. I didn't roll that much, but I got 10 back, so that's okay. something. And then, let's see. As bonus action, as a bonus action, I'm going to give some inspiration because I already gave one away. I'm going to give one more to this one to Anche.
Okay.
So you can get a D8 to any ability check, attack roll, or saving throw to help you
Knowing
with
my
your
dice rolls. Yeah, I'll need it.
Yeah.
Nice. Anything else?
No. I mean, are there one second, let me pull up the map. I know that there weren't any creatures
There
that
are no
got
more little
notices
guys
on
left.
them.
No, it's just her.
Oh, well, now that I've got people next to me, I've got bonuses, so no, I'm just gonna stay where I'm at.
Okay.
Okay.
At the end of the round, emerging from nearby shadows,
No.
where she'd been hiding for some time, you see an Ashkari Orcan woman who steps up from, like, as I said, on shadows. She pulls from under her cloak something, and both Fane and Oathwin, you would recognize as she pulls it out. It is what looks like a broken spear, the head of a spear, a spearhead, and it looks very much like yours, Fane. But both of you recognize the power that's in it. That is quite likely the original one, but where Jadwin's spear was a blade of pure light, this one has, in fact, both light and void sort of running through it, just sort of entwined with one another. And as she steps out, she pulls it from under her cloak, and she hauls back and she throws it, and it hits the form of Fugue. And as it does, you can see the two parts of Fugue, the light and the shadows, that, as you had surmised, Oathwin, she was made of both of those, but they weren't together. They were just sort of like, like this, like, next to each other, but they weren't sort of fully entwined. And as this blade cuts through her, it literally goes all the way through her and flies out. But as it does so, it separates the two parts of her momentarily. And as it does that, she regains a physical form. And one side of her is sort of radiated in radiant magic, and the other side is in void magic. But she's separated now, and she has retained a physical form. And as you see this happen, the woman Cloth Guild that the organizer just thrown at yells out, "She's not gonna stay that way for long!" And your understanding now is that if you hit her with either radiant or some kind of dark magic, by targeting the correct half of her, you'll be able to do damage. So what I want you to do, instead of going through all of it, I just want you to tell me right now what sort of attack you think you would do on her. And we're just going to sort of do them all at the same time, and we're going to sort of tally it up and see where it is rather than go one at a time. So what will you be doing? And then we'll just do them all at the same time. So we'll start with, normally it would be the first person to go would be Fane. So what kind of attack are you going to do, Fane?
I am going to sort of look at the tip of the glaive and look at the glaive, the spearhead that flew through the air, and go, okay, that seems to work. And then I'll hit her with my glaive.
With radiant damage?
Oh, yes.
So only radiant damage is going to work, right? Radiant or...
I will also be pumping my last second level Divine Smite.
All right. So yes. While I keep going around, please roll all that for me. I'm going to take a tally after. After that, it would be 10. It would be Anche. What would you do, Anche?
Well, she's still in my soup. So
that will affect her. All right.
That would do a little bit of damage at least.
Yeah, and that's radiant. Okay. And what else?
That is, I guess I would, the hammer's not radiant, right? My +2 warhammer?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Then, I don't, man, all of my radiant damage comes from spells that I have to cast
what, though,
ahead of time.
If you want to use your channel divinity or war god's blessing, I will say that it will turn your
Ooh, you'd let me turn it into radiant for this for this strike? Yes, I do want to do that then.
Okay. So let us do that. Roll that up, and I'll come back and see what that adds up to. Okay. Oathwin, what would you do?
Oathwin, I think, is recognizing the power of the members of the order in front of them and how effective that they have been in this. I think he would start to fly forward as if he was going to kind of follow suit with Fane, and then something would hold him back, and he's actually not going to attack.
Okay. Aha, he's betraying you all. And Cythriel, what would you do?
Seeing all my compatriots go, I'd stride forward a little, and I would utter the Shadesong spell, or his true name. And if a creature has 100 hit points or fewer, it dies. Otherwise, the spell has no effect.
Okay, I'm sorry, that's a mistake. That's supposed to
Can I
happen.
not? That's there. If not, I can do something else.
That's fine. We'll just say it's something else. We'll say it's a different use of the. We really have to be more careful.
Yeah, how did she get
no.
that?
If
I don't know,
pick the
'cause it
wrong
appeared
thing,
in her
sounded
spell
pretty
list.
powerful for what I
Because it
had,
appeared
but-
in a spell list, I guess. No,
Okay.
that was something that was created for a specific character, and
character. That's
But-
okay. In which case, I would probably cast.
you could drop your octave again if you wanted.
I could what?
You
Yeah,
could
I would probably do that.
Yeah, that would do celestial damage.
Yeah, I would do that then.
Okay, so roll all of that up, and so I have a number here, and as long as you reach that number, you're going to be in business.
Okay.
All right, so we'll start with Fane. What do you have for me?
32 radiant damage.
Okay. All right.
That's what just
Yeah.
one. We just get one hit.
No, you
Wow.
could do like your full attack. Sorry, you could do your full attack.
Oh, well then hold on.
Andre,
I mean, do we all need a roll dice, Faye, in there, or you got this?
10, 14, 20, 52 total radiant damage.
yeah, it's more like it. All right, Ante.
All right. Well, I felt pretty good about my number, but I feel less good now. No, it's sorry. I need a total. I guess I'll just give you each number. It was 12 for the first hit.
Okay.
It's 17 from my spirit guardians, and then 13 from my second hit. So, I chipped in. I contributed.
Yeah, totally.
That's 42.
My spirit guardian soup did the bulk of the work there, but I'll take it.
And Cythriel.
Mine only did 26.
That's okay. You needed just a bit less than that. All right. So as all of you sort of come together and combine
The powers combined.
the force combined, your attack says she has been split into her two separate parts and has thus been weakened as the two parts of her are separated. You all focus on attacking one side of her. And as all your attacks land, the radiant energy that you're unleashing is just eating away at her, and it's just consuming that dark part of her. And as it's consuming it and it's growing smaller, the other side of it starts to sort of shake in the same thing. And as this one is disappearing, the other one starts to consume it also. And as it's doing that, it's basically she's eating herself. And this whole mess of light and dark is sort of swirling around together. And as with a very incredulous look on her face, if she still had a face, wonders what the hell just happened to her, I'm going to need everyone to give me another intelligence saving throw, please.
Oh no.
+9. To...
Oh yay. Okay, that's good.
Oh wait.
I probably
Well,
need
now
it.
it's everybody's moved, so it might be a little different.
I'm closer to you, so I think I get it now. Oh, that's not bad. Oh, yay. Natural 19 plus 4 plus 9, or whatever I get. Yeah.
The dice gods decided that they had messed with me enough and gave me a nat 20.
Nice.
Ooh.
I got a 17. If that's not enough, I will. Well, no, I'm gonna rip the
Actually, I
bardic
think
inspiration
17
anyways.
is enough.
I got a 19. I just added some inspiration to that.
And those who I've given inspiration
Israel.
to, don't forget you get.
Yeah, I just use that.
All right, so your target was 17 again.
Oh,
So as she channels her the dying blow into her, as she channels it back into a form of sort of like a hellish rebuke, but basically, as all this damage that you've done to her causes her to implode, she explodes back with that same force that drives out around her. The total damage is 122 damage. If you save, you get half of that.
What kind of damage?
Wait, what?
It is both radiant and necrotic damage. 122. So half of that is what, like 50, 61? No, that makes no
50,
sense.
50, 61? 122, 61.
Yeah.
If I'm resistance to necrotic, would I have it again? Or would I quarter it because it's only half the damage?
Man, even half of that, I'm down.
Oh no, it doesn't matter. I'm at 0 anyways. Yep. Right at 0.
Me
We all
too.
fall down. And
So-
we all fall down.
Okay. So this ginormous explosion of light and void damage sort of rips through, and that feeling that you felt earlier of your shadows and your light being split apart really happens now, and you can feel it rupturing you and sort of pulling you completely apart. You
Can I interject for a moment? Sorry, but I just wanted to point out I am still at positive hit points, even with all of that damage. And I can invoke the grace of the first fallen.
The grace of the first fallen. All right, what does that do?
Oh,
I can immediately return up to 5 people to their body as they're, in this case, being pulled apart with 10 hit points.
oh,
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 people.
Who's the Orkin?
Yeah. Yeah, because she went too. She's got like 50-something points. You have 6 people. Who are you going to do it to?
I don't
kill?
know virtually any of these people, but that's the question.
You did see me heal.
No. I know. I'm not questioning you. It's a decision of whether or not I would, because I don't know Clothgilda. Oathwind doesn't know Clothgilda. Oathwind only knows what Clothgilda has done in this moment, and that was allow for the potential of slaying Fugue. So he doesn't know that she's a bad person. And he does know Andwil. I think he would let Andwil pass.
Yeah. Fuck that guy.
I think his history with Andwil and knowing where Andwil will go after this and where Shadesong is, I think he would let Andwil pass.
Okay. Is that your final decision?
Yes.
Okay. So as you feel this, your body's being torn apart with the shadows and the light being ripped out of you completely. There's suddenly this influx of energy that comes back and flies through you, and you can almost feel hands that come in and with very sort of, with grace and with gentleness, take the parts of you that were being split apart and sort of cobbles them back together, brings them back together, uniting them back again. And this all happens in a moment. One moment you're there, the other moment you were just completely being torn apart, and the next moment you're lying there on the ground, breathing again, incredibly wounded, as you're all just at 10 hit points, incredibly wounded, trying to catch your breath. Oathwind, as all of this is happening, you sense something also happening as Saga falls, and when you cast this thing, when you use this power from the sword, you feel Saga come back, but you feel that it's not the same person as before. And you feel this spirit that was animated her leave her. And you can almost see it sort of going through. And it stops for a moment, and you can feel almost like a motherly tenderness for the thing that you've just destroyed, the lot of you. But that is swiftly replaced. And then you can feel a little bit of hesitation, and then this power crosses and settles over Clothgilda. And then the lot of you open your eyes, and there are little snowflakes that are coming down. And the screaming and wailing of all these spirits that was around has gone. And you feel, even more than perhaps before, a sort of sense of wholeness and of being really kind of, you know, complete and sort of well balanced, I guess would be the word. And you're watching these little snowflakes just sort of come down on your faces. And as you sit up and look up, you can see the earth in this area has started to reclaim the bodies of the Dracovash that had fallen. Of Fugue, there is nothing left, just wisps of smoke that are sort of flying away on the wind. In the middle of all this is Oathwind standing there with this giant sword in his hand. And the only person that does not stir is Enduil, who remains motionless.
If I see him remaining motionless, I will immediately get up and go to him and try and cast Cure Wounds or anything to get him back to life, like just pulling at him.
When you go here to him and you sort of try to cast the spell and sort of feel, you literally feel like he's been ripped apart at the seams, like the energy that made up his being has literally been just sort of pulled apart and decimated, in that there's nothing left. There's barely just the body there. And because of what keeps the Eldrin old, being the magic from the Well of Eternity, his body is already starting to grow old and to slowly sort of decompose. But it's really, whenever you've come to someone that was recently dead before, you've always felt that kind of fabric of their soul still there, but this time you're really feeling that it's completely gone, like it's been ripped into a million pieces. And I
immediately start to weep and cover him with my body and just try to hold on to him as much as possible.
Oathwind will, bearing in mind he is currently at 3 hit points, does still have his wings though, and floats down next to the weeping Cithriel. You hear just his deep, resonating voice. Doesn't reach out to you or anything like that, but you can still feel his presence there as he says, "The Enduil that I knew long ago made this decision well before you were born, young one. He knew what fate was coming. Take solace in that now he is going to a place where he will be better off for the sins that he committed in his past."
She doesn't say a word. She just continues to hold him.
How are Fane and Anche dealing with all this?
Anche will check on Fane, make sure that seeing that he's also conscious and alive and everything. I think she sees Enduil and is distressed for a moment, Fane probably sees it, but just like she then just immediately like covers like, okay, back to, assessing like what's going on, who's still alive, what do we need to do now? Like she's just sort of busying herself with like a set, like, gathering people, checking on everyone, that kind of thing. Business.
Pain.
Yeah, Fane is like kind of leaning on this spear again, as he's wont to do, and is staring at the snow where Fugue was, and is just kind of, Anjay, if you said that you checked on him, he is not muttering to himself, but he's definitely like kind of puzzling some stuff out. And he looks over at you and he says, I she brought an immense darkness, and it seemed like it was too much, and that this maybe will leave some room for light to be let in.
I hope you're right, and that's what I'm going to do. I don't know about you, but I think I've had my fill of godly powers playing about with mortal lives. I think it's time for the people to put their own light in the world.
Yeah, who knows what we actually did here? I mean, I've never killed demons and things, but that wasn't I don't know.
One step at a time, Fane. She'll hold out her hand in like, one of those warrior handshakes, like.
He will take it.
And she'll grasp your arm. She'll say, all I know is that you'll be right by my side and we'll work this out together. Whatever the future looks like, it'll be bright because we will be building it together. All of us.
I'll wipe off my tears and stand next to him and say, me too.
I'll put my arm around your shoulder and give you like a side hug.
And Fane, as all this is going down, you notice out of the corner of your eye the spearhead that Clothgilda had thrown is in the snow about 20 feet away from you. Still there, swirling with light and dark in it.
Excuse me, I'll be right back.
Cythriel.
Yeah.
How's Cythriel feeling in this moment?
Honestly, losing two family members pretty close to one another is she's feeling sad but empowered. She knows that with this group of people beside her, they'll be able to do great in the world. And she knows she can help them. And that she's got to be the family member who shines their light right now.
And Oathwin?
After Oathwin, came back down to the ground, his wings faded and, that radiant soul portion of him diminishes and he looks like a old and beleaguered warrior. He's just kind of looking at everyone and kind of taking things in, contemplating to himself, obviously contemplating to himself, not saying anything, when Fane kind of steps out to the side to go and retrieve the spear, and there's this like pause in the discussion, and Oathwin kind of moves his eyes back and forth between the lot of them, and without really directing it to anyone, you all just hear him say, "Well, the order is in good hands, at least. Probably much better hands than mine."
What will you do now?
As you address him, he kind of shakes out of himself, not realizing he really spoke out loud. Oh. Well, you see, up until just a few moments ago, I was dead. So I haven't gotten that far, actually.
Well, Anjay kind of steps up a little, not shy, but just sort of like half hesitant. She puts her hand out and she says, I know of an order that's trying to grow. We are seeking new members, if something like that might be interesting to you.
He reaches out with his left hand, purposefully moving his right hand back away from her, and offers to shake with that instead, and says, "I could think of nothing better for me to do in whatever years I have left. You said something that resonated with me just a short bit ago, about the people and the natural light. So yes, I'll join you."
She'll shake his hand with her left hand and say, "Well, welcome to the Heroes Order. We can workshop the name, but something."
No. The Order of Oathwind sounds right, as, well, to be honest, I'm not Oathwind anymore. Maybe you can help me decide a new name, as the old name still has meaning in the world, apparently, and it should not be dropped so easily.
All right. We'll figure it out.
And on the note of rebaptizing, Oathwind ends the first season of Shadesong.
Hell yeah.
Thank you very much. You're all amazing. We're running so late. I'm so apologetic, but that's why I don't do combats at the end of a game usually, but there is a climactic combat. I hope none of you are going to get in trouble for staying up so late. Thank you so very much. Let's go quickly around the thing one more time. Tell us who you are, where people can find you, and then after that, if people want to stick around for a little bit, we're going to raid into some new friends of ours who we don't know because all our friends are asleep right now. We'll have to talk to Tori to give us some hookups for people to raid on the West Coast in the future. But speaking of Tori, let us go with Tori now and tell us, Tori, please, a little bit about yourself.
Yes, hello, I'm Tori. You can follow me on Twitter if you want at Tori Fika. I am one part of the Level 1 Geek crew. We are another Twitch channel. We play a bunch of different tabletop RPGs. Currently on Monday nights, we are playing a little Vaesen campaign. It's good fun. We have guests and change up the games every couple months. So if you like that kind of thing, come hang out.
They do some truly excellent games. If you're in a chat right now and you don't know them, hit up their link right there and go and give them a follow. You will not regret it. Thank you so much, Shuri, for being here and being part of this. I super appreciate you coming in, doing this. You were absolutely wonderful. You totally did more than justice to the character. And, it was very pleasant to have you
Well,
here.
thank you for having me.
No problem. Anytime. Misty, this was your first experience streaming. How was it?
Yeah, it was
You've done
great.
it now, you'll never
Wonderful
do it
to meet
again.
all of you guys and get to play with you. It was really fun to enter this world. So thanks a lot for having me.
And where can people find you?
You can find me. Well, I'm searchable on both Facebook by my name and Instagram at John Paul George and Ringo, because yes, I'm a huge Beatles fan. I'm a GM in my own right and an actor and a dancer, though most of what I post is my cat pictures of all my cats. So to be real, when you follow me, that is what you are going to get. But yeah.
Thank you so much. You were absolutely wonderful. You were totally fit in, like you'd been doing this forever. So, you know, you're totally set for a brilliant career in streaming if you want it. Thank you for being here and playing with us. Scoos, the man who brings all the characters to life.
Yeah, I'm Scoozy. You can call me that or Scoos or some variation thereof. You can find me at Scoos News on Twitter and Twitch. What a goddamn pleasure it has been this season, Bleak, and all of you tonight. That was so fun. I had a good time. Thank you. It's very nice to play with you all.
Thanks for being here. And you're going to get to play in more. We're moving to a format with a regular cast of characters rather than a bunch of different people all the time, changing it up. And both Scoozy and Miko actually are going to be part of that. So we'll see who else is going to be in there. Still got some slots to fill, but we're going to have some more adventures together. Scoos in the Shadesong world.
I don't think Scoos is going to be happy, though, unless he gets to play at least 12 different characters next time.
Well, he's going to get at least three, at least two, one for two of the three storylines. We'll see. But, you know, I'll throw you into some other stuff there, Scoos. You know, we'll play up to your strengths of playing all these different peoples. I raise a glass of aquavit to you, my man. And finally, Miko, thank you so much. Sick as a dog, still playing, bringing it. Thank you so much for being part of this. You want to tell people?
Yeah, hi, I'm Miko. You can find me here, usually not delirious, drug-addled, and with 102 fever. You can check me out on Twitter, the _Archaist_GM. The Guild Superior Discord is probably the best place to catch me if you ever want to talk about anything TTRPG related. I am your guy.
Thanks so much, Miko, for being a part of this. Behind the scenes, you've been a big part of it, also helping me create a lot of stuff for this, coming up with some ideas. Miko's usually the guy that I bounce stuff off of, so I'm very glad that you could be part of this. And thanks for all the work that you do with me and her, my friend. So as far as the rest of us go, I am the Bleakseason on Twitter. We're kind of winding down for the holidays. We will continue to have Greyhawk on Tuesdays. We will continue to have New Varden on Wednesdays for the next few weeks at least. Next Monday, we have our Vaesen holiday special with the production team playing, myself GMing this bunch of yahoos in a little Vaesen, Cthulhu has risen, in a little Vaesen game I'm calling Yule Sang, and features a whole bunch of goats and some tiny little tomtoms. So it should be a lot of fun. Personally, I'm also next Thursday, because it's what I do, going to run another Vaesen holiday special over on Live from the Apocalypse. They are raising funds for the International Rescue Committee. I'll be running a game there to raise some funds at 7:30 on Thursday, which is the usual time for Shadesong, but I'll be over there doing a different Vaesen than the one we're doing Monday, because, you know, more Vaesen, the better, really, is what it is. After that, we'll be on break. I'll be on break at least for a few weeks, coming back in January with more Shadesong. And yes, you guessed it, more Vaesen, because we have a 5-part Vaesen campaign starting in January. Because I love the Vaesen. What can I say? I love the Vaesen.
Christian, if you're not running 3 games a week, what do you do with your life?
I grade papers.
Do we have to write papers? for next
Man, I
season?
don't know how you do it. I'm only running one game.
Basin book reports.
Yes.
Yeah, I've considered kind of doing stuff like that, but I'll give my students a break on that. But yeah, so that's it for us. Tune in next week for some more good stuffs. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for sticking around with us. We're going to read some friends of ours, or new friends of ours. We're going to make some friends because that's what we like to do. Thank you to my players. It's been a great year. See you all in the new year, or Monday. Come by Monday.